Right, here we are. Here we are. Okay, well, I got in touch with Brie Larson's agent to see if she
Oh,
wanted to come in,
Mhm.
but he told me maybe. So there we go. We got a maybe. Yeah, that's better than nothing.
We can
she's
that's
only
still
busy
a
hope.
today.
possibility, right?
She's busy with her homies today, so you don't know, But maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe she'll woo us with her presence. Okay, so what is that notification there? Who, whose notifications can I hear?
That's probably me. Not really my notifications. It's me replugging
Oh
the
yeah,
cell
yeah,
phone
yeah,
into
yeah.
the
Of
computer.
course. Okay. All right. So we got the Ibai Canales right here, and let me just freeze the screen on you. You went black. Just as I fixated the screen on you, you went black.
The, the idea that
You
I
went
didn't
back to
touch
black.
anything.
That's
I
it.
didn't freaking touch anything. What the
Yeah,
hell?
you're touching something. I can
Come
hear
on.
it.
Let me try the camera again.
Let me
All right.
just do
Well,
it.
man, you had your chance. You had your chance at spotlight. I'm gonna pass it to Jacob.
Heck yeah.
All right,
God
Jacob.
damn
Now,
it.
what's happening here with this Batman themed Friday?
Okay, so basically, this is my sort of tribute, or a uh, how would you call it? Sort of a fan appreciation of Batman for the DC 1000 issue.
Oh,
So
right. Yeah, 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 yeah.
I kind of want to uh, portray my favorite Batman moments in one piece, have it sort of be shown in there, and just show my gratitude for this character.
All right. So he's gonna
And
be
it's
like a what is it called? A kind of a family picture, yeah, with everybody, like a group shot of
yeah, maybe so.
Batman's characters, yeah. So who you got there? Two Faces or Joker?
Oh, there's gonna be Joker, of
All right.
course.
Okay.
My
So
Bane.
mm-hmm.
Uh, then these are gonna be Robins, sort of underneath him.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Dark Knight, which was sort of very, very influencing on me.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that, of course. I'll do Catwoman one, and then I'm not sure what else. So I'm gonna be kind of thinking about it as we go along.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And
And any suggestions?
wow, so 1,000 issues, right? They finally got there.
Like, yeah, it's exciting.
I mean, they done the. I've seen the Action Comics cover that Jim Lee was doing. So that's 1,000 as well. So they're all getting there at the same time. So I guess Superman 1,000 as well. I don't know if it came out already.
It came out. I actually have it signed by Jim Lee, which is awesome.
Oh, cool. Well, there you go.
Yeah,
So, well, either way, they're going to fudge the numbers, isn't it? Even if they're not actually all 1,000, they're just going to find a way to move them either closer together or kind of stretch the release timeline so they can all be 1,000 at the same time, isn't it? That's quite a
Hmm.
memorable number, though. That's
Oh
pretty
yeah.
good.
I think these were actually for real 1,000 uh, issues.
Yeah, well, they
So
are. I mean, they made 1,000 of them. It's just that
oh yeah,
probably chances are that maybe 1,000 of Superman, maybe if really we're gonna go chronologically, probably would have come out
yeah,
already a couple of well, maybe a
years
year
ago.
ago,
Yeah, yeah.
because it was
Oh yeah.
1938, wasn't it?
Yeah,
So,
they rebooted a lot, so that's gonna mess up
oh
the
well, yeah, that
numbering. But
that's another thing. Yeah. Okay, Canales is finally ready. Here we go.
I think I
nice.
So,
am.
what we're doing?
I'm penciling a commission for Cassidy Blonde, one of my Facebook friends of his original character.
Okay.
Who
And
turns out she's an interdimensional comic book dealer. There you go.
mm, okay. So the abductables. The
Oh yeah,
abductables.
I'm glad you asked.
Do you want to share some of the pages if you have them at hand, or
Uh,
shall I do the honors?
well, since you're there, I may try and find some of the originals that I have lying around here. Give me a second.
Yeah, it's pretty screwed up that Canales got kicked out of Twitter because obviously if he was still there, I'm sure you would have a link. But hell, let's go to the. Let me go here to Twitter and we'll go to the page of the writer Michael Derrick. Very nice chap. He supported my campaign a lot
There you go.
when he was on, and I'm sure he has a link there. Yeah, here we go. He's got a link.
They're just jealous that I'm so hot with my sexy Spanish accent. I can show you this. Maybe you can see
There
it.
we go. Some original art of the abductables.
There you go. This may be a bit of a spoiler, but I don't care. I'm sure that the finished product is worth the money.
Mm.
Ooh.
Hey, you said this was finished last week, wasn't it? Is this actually finished, or are you still going at a few final pages there?
No, it's 100% finished. Only
Awesome.
the design and the packaging remain and the distribution and all that, but the art
Mhm,
is 100 finished.
Okay, so hey, let me share your campaign page. Okay, I'm gonna
Yes,
unlock
please.
from
Thank
you.
you very much.
There we go. Don't usually don't usually do showcase on a Fridays. It's usually on Saturdays, but I'm gonna share it anyway. Let's have a look here. I'm gonna present to everyone. Oh, I am presenting to everyone. Okay, let me check. What? Yes. Okay. Here we go. The abductables on Indiegogo, of course. So you guys have a fixed goal of 5 grand,
Yep.
and you got a little movie. Is this video here on the campaign? Is that the one you uploaded on
Oh yeah,
YouTube?
that's
The little
Michael's ingenious promo video. I recommend everyone that they see it because it's really funny, well made.
dude. Why am I not sharing the? This is annoying. What's happening here? Let me check. Wait a second. Let me have a look here. Sorry, just a second.
That's fine. So, do you guys have any theme planned for this week, or it's sort of a freebie, free to go conversation type?
Yeah, I'm sorry. How do you mean?
Oh, I'm just thinking if you have a certain conversation theme planned and
Oh,
something
uh,
we're gonna be talking about.
well, I think we may be talking about Brie Larson's lack of success and ass.
I mean, look, uh, I don't care about the politics, but the trailer, the first one, looks so generic to me. I was like, and I'm suffering from a bit of a Marvel fatigue, so I'm just not interested in the whole movieverse anymore, to be honest.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, really, there is a fatigue at this point, and really, if they're really gonna release a new character, which is always the beginning of a new franchise within the bigger franchise, they really gotta kick the kind of kick the ball very high. I mean, and
Oh, yeah. Keep
the
it fresh.
trailer is completely is a non-factor in this particular movie. I mean, really, if you have absolutely no knowledge of what this crap is all about, you're coming in fresh, you're like a 35-year-old guy, you sit in the theater and straight away, well, you start seeing the trailer for Captain Marvel. Yeah, trailer gives you absolutely nothing of interest for you to go and watch this
Yeah.
movie. I mean, you have a
The trailer was extremely generic. And
Yeah, I mean he's below that, man. I mean, really is a really poor trailer. I mean, you got like you have a kind of a taste of a plot that you've seen 1,000 times before, right? Hero with
yeah,
amnesia or whatever they're trying to convey in that thing, and then he tries, starts kind of remembering his past life, whatever. But he's very flimsy to really captivate the audience. And then the main thing, especially in a superhero action packed movie, or what is supposed to be a superhero action packed movie, you have to promote the action. I mean, come on, that is it. That is you got to promote those money shots, right? And what is the action in the trailer? There's absolutely nothing. There's she training with Jude Law for a few seconds, which really doesn't show anything. It's got the scroll mutating, transforming into a woman that he copies like a surfer chick that comes out of the waves. That's it. That's the only sexy moment in that, which is out of focus as well. So, and then she smacks an old woman in the train, jumps on top of the train and uses her photon blast, whatever it is, and then finally in the end of it, like as a little, almost like they're thinking they're wowing you. She's flying in space. That's it, and it ends.
yeah. And
That's
that
the crap
looked
of a trailer.
really bad to me.
Yeah, it looks
That
cheap. It
space
doesn't
stuff.
doesn't
Oh,
look like anything special, basically. So.
yeah.
So it doesn't
Yeah.
deliver on action, doesn't
Not for
deliver on drama. There's nothing there. So who exactly would go and watch this movie unless he's a hardcore fan of the franchise? Nobody.
yeah. But well, right
There
now
are
you have
no,
so many hardcore fans, though.
Well,
yeah, no,
that's
there are
true.
no
But
hardcore fans of Captain Marvel right now. I mean, it's a purely political
yeah,
thing. I mean,
yeah,
nobody really likes the character.
Kelly Sue McCormick, isn't it? She is a hardcore fan of Captain Marvel. Gail Simone is the hardcore fan of Captain Marvel. I mean, really, no, honestly, but that's a bit indecent from Kevin Feige and Disney and Marvel, because they're like thinking, all right, we got these guys eating in our hands. I mean, they're eating in our hands so hard that we
Oh yeah.
can just say, yeah, there's one more coming out. Here we go. And these guys are just going to flock. I mean, that's a bit respectful towards the audience. I mean, it's no man, no. I mean, first rule of advertising, yeah, no matter who your audience is, you got to shield the project as best as you can. You got to put those money shots out there, especially these kind of things. The million of bucks involved in these productions. They can do a kick-ass trailer if they want to. I mean, they're really, really scraping the bottom of the barrel with the footage they have. I mean, I understand this is a teaser made 8 months ago, but you can't leave out of the teaser until the release. You really got to give a little bit more to the audience, the
So
prospective audience.
the job of the trailer is to show the best parts of the movie, to really get the audience hooked.
Yeah,
Sometimes it's for the worst when they reveal too much, but when they reveal not enough, that's bad as well. So
Well, I think this was
absolutely.
a case of the trailer revealing too much in the sense that it revealed that the movie fucking sucks.
I mean, come on, they can't even sell her.
I mean, look, I haven't seen it, and that should tell you something about it. But I can't really uh, comment on the movie's quality since I haven't seen it. I
Mm.
can just comment on how poorly the trailer was done, how poorly the advertising all around, and all the situation that actually came up was done
Hmm.
pretty
Hmm.
poorly in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's like this. I'm on the same boat as you guys. I agree with all that. I went one step further and I read the reviews, and what I can tell you is like this: the reviews are also not helping from kind of a normie kind of side of the audience. Yeah, because it's like this: the good reviews, there's just like polished. It's a polished accolade. It's like saying, "Oh yeah, it's great. It's so great. It's so good," and all. It doesn't say anything about the movie. Doesn't say what is really good about it. It just says he's great. While the reviews which are a little bit on the negative side, they actually deconstruct what is wrong with it, and they explain, like usually what a negative review should be. Because I wouldn't like a review that is only bashing and doesn't actually explain why. So that's all I can tell is that the good reviews just feel like they're being paid to say that. that really gives the impression there that then it's just promotional tools, you know.
So
Uh,
it shows you that people who want the movie to be good, they just gonna say it's good, and doesn't matter why. Uh,
well, yeah, well, but that's just again, it's just people being just shills, you know, just Disney shills and just being paid by
yeah,
these guys, you know.
dude, and the weirdest stuff are happening because of this movie. Like the cinema bans or the only Captain Marvel screenings, stuff like this. That's kind of weird.
Mm, it is.
Yes. So
I think this movie is going to mean an inflection point, so to speak, and the public's perception of nerd press, of the press that covers nerd stuff, because it's becoming apparent that there are paid shields. They even admitted to it on a live stream recently. I mean, they play ball with Disney and stuff, because
Mm.
otherwise they won't get access to interviews and special material and all that.
oh yeah.
They pretty much admitted to it.
Yeah, special material. Brie Larson's panties. It's,
Something tells me that it's not a thing that many people have seen. Maybe only wealthy producers and all that. Maybe Harvey Weinstein, but
now he's hiding in the hole. That guy, isn't he? Or he's not. I think he's out already of the hole. I think they let him off, or maybe not. I read something that he's definitely going to court with those allegations. I just can't remember what I read. It was a couple of weeks ago. Hey, Canales, let's just have a look here at your. Let's just let breathe for a little bit. The stale cheese breathe for a little bit, and we're gonna have a look here at your thing here, man. Your book is going for $25. No, man, sorry, I'm looking at the physical copies. First one, the physical copy, $15. That's it, $15 shipping worldwide. Yeah,
yep, that.
awesome. August 2019. All right, man. So plenty of time still to do anything you want. You can recut. You can do
Yeah,
a
yeah. I was thinking of rewarding our backers with exclusive videos of myself dancing with a gray mask that I have lying around here in my home. I
oh,
mean
like an
that's
alien
cute.
mask.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah. I have.
right.
I bought it for Halloween a few years ago, and I never got to really to give it good use.
Oh, wait a second. Is that as one of the perks? I think it is, isn't
I,
it?
I think it should be. It's not
Oh, you should
officially
be. You
one yet,
should
but I
do
think
that. Get abducted. Get drawn into the book. All right. So you still have a couple of pages there. How many you have of
yeah, I
this one?
know.
Wait a second. Three.
Yeah, we've left some space, some breathing space for
Yeah.
the perks. If you pay enough, you'll get introduced in the comic. Your face will be drawn over the blank face of one of the abductees.
hmm Okay. It's just one shot in one panel, or you have the same character running throughout a few pages.
I think we could have the same character running through a few pages, because I took care of that. There's several blank spots where you can do that. So yeah, why not?
hmm Well, maybe it's just in that page that you were sharing there just a while ago. There was a little bit of a blank area there in
Yeah,
the bottom. Maybe
yeah, yeah.
that's
Let me
so
show
that's
you
your
again. Ladies and
right.
gentlemen. So
That's your top
we have,
perk.
yeah,
Just before that, bulk quarter, 10 signed copies. Wow, 52 pages, as you were saying the other time.
yeah. We have to blow up the page count, because my art was just so epic that I needed more pages.
Yes, I heard. So I heard. And two
So
physical copies. Okay,
science.
cool. So that's pretty much it. You have digital copy and copy physical copies of the book, leaving it nice and clean without too many bells, too many whistles, and none of that print craps and t-shirts and all that. Just it's nice and clean, straightforward. Yeah, I like this, man. That's what I'm gonna do in my next campaign, because I injected my previous campaign with so much stuff, and besides, the logistics of it being very complicated for
Yeah.
us in the end of it. If I mean, I don't understand, man. I go on some campaigns, right, and I see I see all these guys, cover A, cover B, cover C by Mike Minola, and cover B by Brian Pulido. Okay, that's so great, but what do I care? I'm gonna buy something because they cover A or cover B, and then like 25 perks, 25 tiers,
Yeah,
and, and it becomes almost like a kind of homework, You're really reading some of these tiers, and he's like, okay, in this one you get cover A and cover B, but not cover C. But you get the physical print, like the poster of cover A, but that's minus the bookmark. Oh man, come on, what the heck? This just it's too much.
yeah. This reminds me when when the DVDs first tried to overthrow VHS, and they would load them with lots of useless crap in the extras, like a
Yes,
video diary done by the driver of Harrison Ford or whatever. And why the
that's right.
hell
Yeah.
should I care? I just want to see the movie, man.
All these companies trying to suck as much as they could from the collectors, the movie
Yeah,
collectors, So it's just like a special edition with 2 discs, and because the second disc they will have, the special features, which were not all of them in the first one, and then triple special edition because this one will have the previous one. Oh, shut it! It's just spend money, spend money. I actually fell for that a couple of times. I gotta say, I confess, in the beginning when they start coming out, but then soon I
right.
realized, wait a second, this is
You
a
were
trick.
dumb.
They would not do it if it wouldn't work.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So we only have ourselves to blame
Oh
for that.
yes, I have a large credit card bill to pay that is proof of that. I was stupid enough to fall for those things. Okay, man, you got a long page here, man. Many pages you're showing here. Got Michael Derrick has written some stuff here. Okay, but he's all done, so it's good. And how long have you guys been live today? Obviously, but a few hours, basically, just a few hours, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it was around 7 p.m. my time, so that's probably 1 a.m. or 1 p.m. over there, like
Oh,
Michael
so
says.
just a couple of hours ago.
Just a
Awesome.
couple of hours. We're already, let me check, 850 last time I checked.
Yeah, I'll refresh this. Yes.
And we're up to $900 in just a couple of hours, man.
Oh yeah, there we go. You see, we're gonna do this live tracking here, yeah, like some other guys do, yeah. we'll,
Oh, yeah, I'm so excited.
there we go. We'll keep it on, and we'll refresh it once in a while. Come on, right now it's $900. Who gives more? The thing is that to us, it doesn't show anymore how many backers you have. Only you can see that. I don't know. They're restructuring Indiegogo a few months ago, a couple of months ago, and I cannot see anymore the number of backers as the campaign goes, and not even when it ends. Well, you can see it, but I cannot see it. It only says what you're getting, basically.
I can say, but I don't know if that's ethical, because if only I can see it, maybe I'm not supposed to divulge it. I don't know. I
Yeah,
will not say.
it's just, well, I'm pretty sure
Michael
it's up
Derrick
to
is a
you. I don't think there's any constraints there. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing these for now, and we'll come back later. I'll leave it here open. Now, I don't know if I'm doing this right. Here we go. I'll stop. No, okay, here we go. Okay, we're back here. Right. So anyone joining us now, just like the video, all right, and do put a follow on the channel so I can convince my cousins to come and do stupid videos. My redneck cousins. Otherwise, they won't come. I'm working on a page here. Let me just try and focus the camera here. Page 15, issue 4, and I'm having a lot of trouble here with this. You see, straight away, I'm going to erase all this crap right here because this is the wrong perspective. I'm just gonna build up a perspective grid here so I can have. This is a turtle guy. She's this guy here. He's shooting his gun, and his gun emits some sound waves that destroys it doesn't destroy it. It kind of just melts the virus, but then the virus is like, it's like Spider-Man's black suit. It just reforms itself again. Hey, let me go on. Let me put the screen here on Jacob, so while I clean up my page.
Hello.
And there we go. Hey, Jacob, man, I like your vestry book, man. I mean, I respect your Batman, man, but you got any vestry going on today?
Of course I do. I've actually been working on a new page, so I'm gonna share it with you.
Yeah.
If
By the way, man, your colors, the colors, because I could only see them the other day on here on the screen share, and it's a
Mhm.
bit small.
Yeah,
But I'm liking the colors very much. Yeah, the color pattern you're using is really that nice, old fashioned, kind of clean coloring
see,
pattern that I like.
see, that
I'm
was
a
not
bit.
actually me. I've actually been trying out a colorist
Oh, really?
since. Yeah, yeah. I've
Nice.
I have no idea how to do colors. I mean, I've been I've been doing some just shitty mock-ups of what colors could be used. But yeah, I was actually impressed with him as well.
Mm. Oh, so those colors you shared there, that's from someone else then.
The whole page.
Yeah, the whole page you
Yeah, yeah,
shared the other day. Reason?
yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
That's me.
What does it matter? It's yours or not? You're still obviously coordinating the what I would call the uh, artistic direction of it. That's what I like to call when I work with my colorists. They're probably what they call what I try to do with them though is a son of a bitch. This son of a bitch. What is he talking about colors? Doesn't know anything. But let's just politely reply to the email. Oh yeah, yeah, I understand what you want. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But I call myself an artistic director as far as colors are concerned.
See, I
No,
was
but it's good.
almost.
I like
Yeah,
it.
sorry. Thanks. See, I was almost thinking going even more simpler with them and do just sort of like those old school colorings, like basically no shading. Do it
Hmm.
like real old school Conan style.
Okay, you mean like the regular Conan from Marvel from the 70s, the
Yeah, yeah,
regular
yeah.
regular
Exactly.
comic, yeah.
Yeah, something like
Right.
that.
Yeah, you could, but I like very much what you have there. I don't. I mean, I would have to see more pages. I don't know if you have any more. I would have to see my more pages to give you
Yeah.
an
No,
humble opinion. But
unfortunately, I'm kind of short on money right now, so I don't
oh
have
yes,
anything to pay him. Uh, so I'm planning on doing or trying to get some commissions and paying him off of those.
right, right, right. I'm actually quite worried my colleagues is listening to this stream right now because I still own two pages, the final two. It's not a problem. I can pay him, but then I won't be able to pay my gas bill. And I'm winter in London, which is slightly colder than where Canales is. So
See, the struggle is
Well, I
real.
can't complain. It's cool and rainy here, not too cold, but we have lots of frogs and spiders. So if
oh,
you're a biologist, you're gonna
Yeah.
love it here.
so it's humid. So it's like this slightly warmer. You got like a swamp kind of environment going on there, isn't it?
Yeah, let's say it's kind of like a warmer island here.
I
It's
love it.
rain all the time, except it's not so cold.
I like that. It's women with those Pantene commercials. With those frizzly wet air. Like yeah,
Uh,
here
I don't
is
wanna I don't wanna burst your bubble, but I must say that cultural Marxism is really a thing among Basque young women.
yeah.
So yeah, you may want to stick to Irish women.
Well, and obviously for anyone listening, something I only knew this morning, so about 10 hours ago, that today is the International Women's Day. And obviously, that's the reason why Captain Marvel was released today, quite smartly. So, for anyone actually had not added one and one together, what they want to, it's so cringy, isn't it? And International Women's Day. So, we got International Women's Day. We got Mother's Day coming up in also a couple of weeks. We got Valentine's Day. That's a woman's holiday, isn't it? I mean, come on. Surely it's not about me getting chocolate candies and flowers. So
I mean, where
you
was the
know,
last time ever you got something for Valentine's Day?
yeah, nothing. And they got this Australian MP, in an assembly. The guy's having a go at her. I can't remember what's the beginning of the argument, but she's like, well, how about because there is Father's Day, but nobody gives a squat about that. There is International Men's Day, and she says, "Well, men don't need International Men's Day because every day is a Men's Day."
Oh,
Really?
oh, girl.
Maybe you like to, tell me that every day. Then that'd be quite nice to hear. And it's like, it's this concept that the man, like the male figure is like, is his flag bearer, and
Oh yeah.
everybody else is around him and behind him. Yeah, well, but
Oh,
we're the first ones to get shot, the flag bearers, So
yeah.
it's just, we women as usual, they're the most important thing around, because obviously, no, not only they usually look better than us, unless we're in our peak, they usually still manage to look better than us. Sometimes though, men, after a certain age, actually age well, like wine. That is a known concept. Although not all of us, but after our 50s, a lot of us actually look very good, and most of the women don't look that great. Ooh, I'm getting a boot in my mouth already.
I mean, men get richer by the time they age, so that's more attractive to women.
Yeah, I mean, but the point is, no, I don't think they need International Women's Day, because the conventional laws, they're both in society and in the rule of law, they're completely on their side already. That's already been achieved, by the by the Marxist feminism. So I mean, the divorce laws are on their side. Regular laws are on their side, because men usually get bigger penalties for the same crimes that women, if the women commit them. So no, I mean, like the that Australian MP was saying, you don't really need an International Men's Day, because every day,
Every day,
right?
man thing. Come
The
on.
same point can be associated with women. Every day is a Women's Day, because really, what should be celebrated is a species. It's more of a highly lofty idea, but really, I mean, man is man and women when we have man with capital M. So that's the point. I mean, but obviously, we don't need to celebrate that, because we're the only beings in this world, and we're the leaders of it. We're in charge. So, who are we gonna show this off to? The monkeys, to the elephants? Hey, look, today's Man's Day. Yeah, so you stay in your jungle there and shut the hell up. This is all bull crap, isn't it? Just makes us spend money. So I'm working at retail, and we got all these guys again today buying flowers and buying candies and buying all that crap. And I said, well, what is this, Valentine's Day again? No, today's International Women's Day. Oh, for crying out loud! But that was 2 weeks ago. That was already International Women's Day again today. So now we have this every month. Then what is this? Every month we're supposed to
See,
buy
this is why I only celebrate festivities in which you are allowed to sacrifice other people to your dark gods.
Oh yeah, those are the best ones.
Those are the only festivities that are worth keeping track of.
Canales, you're going black there again. Let me. Oh, you're good now.
Oh yeah, sorry, my dark gods don't like me talking about them without permission. That's how
Mm,
they punish me.
there we go.
Yeah, so I've been showing this page from Lester here. Uh, and this one's gonna be kind of interesting since it's shifting from the focus of our main hero to this ghost and the situation that happened in the place prior. Sort of difficult to pull off.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I obviously have noticed that Karl has just joined us. Yeah,
Hey,
Hey, Carl,
but
Awesome. Hey, Karl.
but I'm not saying anything until he tells what he had for dinner.
chipper.
What was it?
Huh?
What was it? Fish? Meat?
Nah, I just had chicken, fried
Chicken? Oh, fried
chips, yeah.
chicken. What do you mean?
From the chipper
KFC?
though, so it's
KFC?
no, from like the local chipper, like fish and
All
chips.
right, I'll say. I see. Okay. Very good. Okay, let's just move on. Jakub, just hold on that page there for a second. Let me just go here on Karl and see what he's got.
Oh, I got a commission that I'm figuring out. That took a
Nice.
while because I had some trouble figuring out. I went through like different forms. So here was one version of it.
Oh, that is looking epic.
But I didn't really like it because it just kind of felt like everyone's
mm,
almost like floating. I really like her, but there's no real perspective, and then I just threw in some crap in the background. Blah. And then I got told that the bad guys' blood, these zombies, are they have like electric blue blood. And so I was like, oh, that's gonna look cool to light up.
Oh,
And then I was like, let's just basically take this big lad and make it like a victory pose. And
so dope.
like this whole thing is just gonna all down here is just gonna be a pool of electric blue glowing blood. And that's gonna light up the whole scene as the glowing blue blood.
I love it.
Well, wait,
With
wait a second. What is this for?
It's a commission for like a pinup for a book. I don't even know if I should be showing it.
Oh, I see. Right. Some guys are doing a book and they've commissioned you to do. Is it a cover or a?
No, it's a. I think it's a poster.
Oh, right. I see. I see. Okay, so it's just a print. Cool. All right. Well, a guy there with is that 4 arms he's got or 6 arms? 4 arms.
Yeah, 4.
I've seen some guys with a project like this. I'm not sure if it is those guys, but
Yeah, it probably is.
the name keeps on eluding me. I can't remember the name because Canales' book, the Abductables. You know, there's another project out there which has a very similar name, which is like the Kidnappers or something. Like I keep on getting confused with them. So
You know what
all
they
right.
say is think alike. So
Yeah. Let me just cool. And yeah, so when is the issue 3 of Death Sworn gonna be coming out? August?
Yeah, that would probably be. I'd say even before that, probably. It's once I
Right.
get it. It's like every time I finish up some bit of work, and then I get commissions, and then I like you can't really turn down commissions.
Mm-hmm.
So
Hey, you're doing you're now solely dedicating yourself to this, to Death Swarm. So you're making good living out of it. Yeah. That'll be that will come. Do not worry. Yeah,
so
I
yeah,
just
I'd
said
say
August. I said August
if
because Canales' book is coming out in August, so that's why it's almost finished.
oh,
So
yeah, August would be I'd say late. I think I'm getting through it pretty fast. I definitely am getting faster. I noticed that.
yeah, well,
Unless I get hung up on like colors, because that annoys me.
yeah, we all noticed that. He's getting quite fast.
it's the opposite for me. As I'm getting better, I'm also getting slower. So I'm trying to not become too good. You know.
Yeah, I think there's like a part of me that's more willing to let go of stuff now, you know? Like I used
Yeah.
to strive to make something look really like try to make it the best I can, and now I'm like, you know what? No one's gonna look at the hand for more than 5 seconds. I can let it go.
Yeah, that is true. That is good advice to yourself, actually. Let me just put these here.
Yeah, do you think someone like Erica Henderson thinks like this? Someone's gonna look at it for too long. It's fine.
I know that a lot of like the really really shitty Marvel artists out there, they tend to like idolize the whole like layout phase, like they're always going on about like how special their layouts are, that they take forever,
Oh yeah.
and then their work looks like paper cutouts.
I mean, I've seen some of your layouts you've been doing, and I love those.
Oh, thanks. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I probably should be shown, because I can't. I don't know if people want me to show commissions that I'm working on for them.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
I think Jakub wasn't talking about you. I think Jakub was talking about the Marvel guys complimenting the other Marvel guys. Oh, I love your layouts. Oh, yeah, I know you do.
See, I'm a giant fan of Karl's, actually. Yeah, fanboying over here, kind of. I guess.
Well, yeah, I mean, completely entitled to be a fanboy as far as Karl is concerned, and Canales as well. Canales is having a big fan following. I mean, especially the ladies; they're all over
Oh,
What can
it.
I say? It's the accent, man. I keep saying it's the accent.
The accent, but it's quite unfortunate that Canales has lost a few of his social network places. I mean, I don't understand how Twitter. You were explaining to me the other day that these guys, before you even finish
Yeah.
your profile, they're already on it and they're already canceling you out. How did they manage to do that? Is because this comes from the same IP address? Is that the reason?
I don't think so. I don't think so because I rebooted the router and all that. It's not the first time that I try to uh, evade the ban. I've
Right.
been on the internet for a while now, and yeah, I wasn't even finished with my account settings, with my profile pictures and my info and all that, and suddenly, bam! I get the red band atop the browser telling me that my account has been suspended, and I
mm.
wasn't there for not for even 10 minutes.
Have you tried VPN?
Sorry.
Have you tried VPN?
VPN.
VPN, it's like a server that hides your IP. So basically, you can
Hmm.
uh, look as you're from a different place than you actually are,
Hmm.
Hmm.
and it's hard to track you.
Yeah, probably the fact that I called myself Canales, Salteria Canales, didn't help either. But I'm still
Think is that?
convinced that.
Do you think it's like a specific word that they track? Maybe it is that.
Yes, yes. I think some of my friends have the theory that some users are on a perpetual watch list. They're like in a blacklist, and
Right.
they have like this what's the term? This algorithm that tracks you, and things that sound like your name, or
Hmm.
if someone talks similarly to how you talk and all that, and you're out. If they catch you, you're out, regardless of what you said or what you did.
Well, wait a second. Wait a second. I'm gonna put an Alex Jones kind of accent
Breaking the conditioning.
because it's a conspiracy. That doesn't work, Canales, because you have a fan page on Twitter called Canales, and he's there. So it can't be. It can't be the words. It cannot be the. It
Whoa,
has to be
but
something
I
else.
have I have a fan page on Twitter.
You
What?
do. Well, let me
What?
find it for you.
I need to check that out.
Come on. And obviously it has. I'm pretty sure it is your name. Let me check. I'm gonna.
Yeah, I thought you were still up because last week I was trying to tag you and I couldn't find anything.
Well, I'm actually finding a lot of Canales here, but Jim Canales, Coach Mike Canales, Terry Canales, Rodrigo Canales, Andrea
Oh,
Canales. Jesus Christ!
Mike Canales is that thing from Mike Canales is that guy from Battleship who he beat the shit out of an alien with his bare hands. So
Really?
yeah, that guy is an honorary member of the Canales clan. We officially adopted him, not abducted. That's illegal.
We mean Coach Mike Canales?
Well, I don't know if that's a guy, but there was one guy called Mike Canales in Battleship. So
Uh,
I
the,
wanna think that that's him.
the guy that actually beats up the aliens in a battleship with his hands is a guy that looks like Mike Tyson. He's an actual, isn't it? Isn't he the actual soldier, the actual Navy officer that lost his leg, and he's actually in the movie playing that part, isn't it? Playing
Yep.
himself. Is that the guy you're thinking of?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was. I remember that he was called Canales in the movie. So my
Oh,
dad and I watched it, and we said, "Well, that's so Canales." When faced with an alien, you just beat the shit out of him.
listen, I'm pretty sure I know you have a fan page, and I actually thought you were aware of it because it says it's curated by you.
No,
So,
no, no, no. I didn't know that.
no, well then, there's definitely is a conspiracy here. We really got to get to the bottom of this. In the meanwhile, you need to buy my elixir. It's really gonna make your hairs grow. Now we sell 5 bottles for $10.
Super male vitality.
This is great stuff. All the guys here in the office use it. All of them have big hairs in their chest. Let me see. Let me see where
Well,
this.
he does look manly. That's you can't dispute that.
Yeah, he's here on my list of. I follow it or he follows me, but he's halfway through the list. Of course, I got 10,000 followers, so it's gonna take some time. Oh, by the way, I've noticed today as I was sending the link to Karl here that he's pretty close to 1,000 followers on Twitter. Huh? Are we going to celebrate that tonight? Maybe we are after the stream or during the stream. Maybe even we're going to get there.
That would be
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty insane. I know it's also shameful because I've had my Twitter account since like 2010, but I never used it until basically this summer.
We're all in the same boat with that. I also had mine exactly the same time as yours. I never bothered myself to come here because I always thought to myself, I can't crack this. I can't crack Twitter. Doesn't matter what I do. I can never do anything there. And then I discovered that I needed to do more. And that's finally when I started finally enjoying it. It's like a little vice you need to learn how to enjoy.
And it wasn't until I got basically kicked out of my community that I grew. Like as much as the comic scene over here want to talk about how supportive and how much they care and want to see everyone succeed, they never did shit for me until they could fucking use me. Like,
hey, Canales, you sold one more copy, man.
Oh, did I now?
You did. Let me share it. I never know if I'm sharing it. I'm not sharing it. Screw this.
So what exactly do you mean by doing more on Twitter? I'm interested.
Yes, Karl, do answer.
well, is that to me? I thought that was to you.
Oh yeah, that's where you left. That's where you finished just before. I was also intrigued by that. You said you have some negative relation with the community. You said you were until they needed you or were using you or something.
Oh no, it's like no one. Yeah. Well, no one like cared to share my stuff, and if they did, like, didn't go past to them sharing it, And then it was like, there was like a 2-week span where people could just like call me bad shit, and
Really?
that's when I like people who never even interacted with me were like screenshotting tweets and stuff, and I was like, wow, you guys only care when you guys don't even care about art or anything, you guys just care about destroying people.
When was that?
If that's any consolation. Sorry.
Huh?
No,
go ahead.
when was that? When exactly was that?
It was around Halloween.
Oh, just this past October, November.
Yeah. I think it was when I remember you invited me on that thing, and I was like, "Hey man, like I'm keeping my head down for."
That's right.
It was around that time.
You did the right thing. You came here. This is a safe house. Guys were after you with the pitchforks, and you came into the right place. But I remember that's probably when you did the hashtag, isn't it? Shifting to turbo, isn't it?
No, I was using that before even a lot because I started using that. I actually started using that when Chapter 2 was released, so that was like last summer.
All right. Okay. Got it.
Yeah, like August or something. Because I saw that being used around, and I thought Turbo was such a good fit. I was like, I'm gonna steal this, and then I started interacting with all those guys, and then. But that was part of it. I think that's what kind of people don't like you using like hashtags. People don't like you like unless it's like comics, hashtag indie comics. You're suspect if you use anything else but those.
Yeah.
Oof. I do use only those.
Well, so Canales, you have one more book sold, and yeah, the honorable Mr. Canales is about to say something.
Oh, I was going to say that I've been in the same position as you, Carl, because I remember that this was years ago when I began to voice my concern about social justice being injected into comics and how shitty the new progressive characters look like. Uh, I remember one of my so-called friends told me that I was damaging my image on the Spanish comic book sector, and no one's going to want to hire you with that mentality. And I was like, bitch, what are you talking about? No one has ever hired me in Spain. The only stuff I've done was in the US. I didn't even know I have an image in the Spanish comic book sector. And yet there you are, here you are telling me that that you know about me, that they know about me, and that I'm doing myself bad publicity. Those motherfuckers.
I got you now. I understand now what Karl was saying with now what you just said. I had exactly the same experience. It's like nobody cares about you. Nobody cares about what you're doing. But the moment you kind of raise your voice, or not even raise your voice, but kind of come out about something and support something, and straight away they suddenly are very worried about what you're saying. They drop in these messages. Oh, you shouldn't say that. Well, you shouldn't join those guys because those guys are like this or like that. Well, dude, okay, I appreciate your thing, but when I'm saying something else, you never come on to my page saying something. Okay, I agree with that. So I understand now what you guys are saying, because that's exactly the same experience I had. Like Canales, they never called you to do anything, but then suddenly they're very worried about your presence in the Spanish comic book
Mm.
industry.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, I
what
mean,
was real strange was like how quickly it got around to people, you know? Like there were stores posting about it, like posting like without mentioning me, but mentioning me, talking about me, but not trying to like allude to it and stuff. And these are places and stores that like claim that they support Irish indie artists and they carry all Irish indie artist books, but they never once reached out to me or made it comfortable for me to be like, hey, take in my book. So it's like, yeah, you guys, it's like you guys are a fucking swamp, like a stagnant swamp. And
Oh,
I'm like this healthy fucking branch, and you just cut me off.
yeah, you didn't mention that once, actually, a convention that you had some trouble with, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, no, I was full on like, basically banned, like
Yeah,
basically
that's
told
right.
like we're removing you from this convention, like don't come.
And you were due to go there, right? Just to sell your stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Wow.
that even gets into way more even like complicated stuff with like the history of that convention with my publisher and stuff. That's like, yeah, I don't like bringing up stuff that I'm not directly involved with, but
Yep.
like it was so shady, so shitty
Right.
what
Yep. Because I
people
think
will do, just this showboat to each other. And what I kind of found out from other people who went there, who I talked to, was basically there was Marvel pros there that a real, anti, anything that's I don't know, real SJWE or whatever, or that side of the fence, and they basically did it so that they could sort of brag to those guys in hopes of getting something, I guess.
all right. Okay. It was just a show off kind of thing.
Yeah, it was an attempt to bootlick, and that's something that I'm
Hmm.
noticing more and more. Looking at comic book artists and up and coming comic book artists, and you know, up and coming comic book artists is interesting because it spans from everything from like me, like a 21-year-old guy, or like a dude in his 30s, like with like late 30s with a family or whatever.
Hmm.
And it's always the same thing. It's like you're either a bootlicker or you're an indie artist.
Bootlegger. That's right.
And that's like it's just always it. It's like there's seems to be like this lack of any sort of like rational uh like communication. It's like you're either a weirdo indie on the outside of it, or you're this guy who's like completely okay with whatever narrative's coming out, you know.
Yeah, I mean, these guys is really just what Canales is saying. These guys basically they're not caring about your book, right? I mean, it doesn't matter if they're convention owners or kind of hardcore fans or just industry auxiliaries or guys that are actually working in the industry now. The problem is like this: they don't care about you. They don't care about your work. That's why they never come on your page, and they don't become your follower. They don't become your fans. It's none of that crap, right? They only jump on you when you're saying something they don't like. And the reason why they do that is very simple. Right? They just realize there's one more guy that just became evident to them is on the wrong side of history for them. So all they're doing is they're jumping on you and they're going with the blame game. So they make you feel bad, they make you feel miserable, and just try for you not to join the wrong bandwagon, and hopefully maybe join their cause. So that's why they're doing this. These campaigns, they're not just harassment campaigns. They're just them realizing they have one more guy to deal with, and they want to try and cut you off at the root before it grows. That's what they're doing. That's why they don't care about before and they don't care about the after. Because like if you said to these guys, "Oh, I realized that I hadn't seen things this way." You're very right. I'm actually not going to use these hashtags, and I'm not going to be talking about these things anymore. I know that's it. They leave you alone, but they never again go back to your page. They will not buy your books. They don't care about that. That's it. That's all this is about. So not so much harassment campaigns. It's just them not wanting to deal with one more person. So they try to cut you off straight away there. And that's exactly the sort of messages I got when I started using certain hashtags. I started getting all these people suddenly commenting on my stuff, and I was quite happy. Oh, I'm finally having a bit of feedback here. I just realized it was just assholes. I shouldn't be saying that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because one of the reasons why I'm not such an experienced artist is because I am actually a self-published writer, and I self-published like I think four, maybe five books in Spanish, and most of the guys that concert trolled me after I came out as not as a right winger, but as a wrong thinker, more like. None of them actually backed any of my books. They never actually they didn't share the books. They didn't back them. They didn't talk about them. But suddenly, when I'm voicing these controversial opinions, they're all over me, and they know everything about me, and they know what I've been working on, and that really pissed me off.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
it's,
that was a big thing with me. It was like a lot of guys who kind of turned on me were guys that were like trying to get me to work for them, And it's like, if I'm gonna work on something, I'm gonna work on my own thing, you know.
yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm not I'm not big into doing the, like it's like a lot of indie comics, especially like your low level con stuff, not like your crazy internet stuff, but like your sort of everyone sort of just going out to the conventions to not sell anything. Like it's a lot of just like a sort of like an all right artist teams up with like amateurist writer to just further a writer's career. Like it's
Yeah.
never the other way around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like writers always need artists. I don't really think artists need writers all that much.
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, sometimes.
And so yeah, those guys, the same guys that kind of went after me, they were the guys that were like always like, we need to work together on something. We need to do so. Oh, we need to. Even when they went after me, they were like, this is sad. I really wanted to work with you.
Yeah, I think the main difference is that there's something to be said about good writing that sometimes a good artist cannot achieve very well. But in terms of sequential narrative, I think the artist still has a better grasp actually of what can fit on a page and what should be done. Because, for example, I'm writing sometimes. I'm writing my script, right, and I'm trying to visualize the page as I write it. Yeah, and I kind of become a separate person. I don't know if this happens to you guys, for you that write and do the art. I'm kind of thinking, okay, I'm gonna pass this on to the artist, and how is he gonna understand this? Shall I have two panels here for this thing here? Shall I have three tiers here on this page? And I'm thinking, wait a second, the artist is me. So I'm like, well, God Almighty, I'm getting confused. So sometimes actually it's good to, well, if not, again, I still think a good artist can do a good story, yeah. But sometimes, especially me, I definitely need help sometimes with some semantics, some dialogue here and there, because that is very important to for me to get it right, to sound good. And I really need a lot of editing work after I finish the script. I mean, I got about two or three guys working with me on editing, and sometimes actually I'm quite I'm always on the fence with that, but I might even be open to the suggestion of having a ghost writer coming after my first, well, not my first, because I have about 3 4 drafts of the same crap script, right? But after I have one that I think that's it, is the final one, I look at it and go like, no man, I can still take at least 500 words out of this. And I mean, I saw your page earlier on today, the one you're saying you want to do a bit of exposition there, and you try to condense it. And you made a page there. Maybe you can show it here. You had about 8 panels in it, I think.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
it's real funky looking. I'll try to get it up.
that reminds me my exposition pages. I got 8 panels is nothing.
Yeah, I have a lot of text I have to remove out of it too. I don't like kind of sharing, like, again, like you. I always try to get dialogue, like, remove it
Oh yeah, there you go. Oh,
most.
he's
Yeah.
looking nice. He's looking nice. Let me fix the page on you. Sorry, guys. I'm just giving a bit of time here to Carl because I really wanted to check this out.
So
There we
yeah,
go. That's
it's yeah, it's sort of the whole idea. It's This is like this is the talky bit of the story. They're all in the kind of the shadow of the story at this point. It actually is the middle point of the whole story. So trying to really gear up, uh, so that everyone's sort of allegiances, their plan is set out for the next half of the story, going forward. And so yeah, there's about 4 pages of just full on dialogue, and it's not just plans, but it's past and some of the characters and stuff. So I wanted to almost fix. I wanted to almost work like a Sorry, I have a cold, so you're gonna hear me keep muting and unmuting myself because I'm coughing and stuff. But
yeah, it's okay, man.
uh, I wanted to work like a page within a page. Like this
Yeah,
almost works as like a page, and then there's a sort of campfire-y thing going on, and then she's kind of talking about her past, her brother, and so the smoke from the fire sort of mixes into her word balloon, and
right.
that's what makes these sort of memory bits here. So that's going to be like part smoke, part word balloon,
Mhm.
trailing off into here, like that. But I still have a ton of dialogue to take out and shorten stuff up and make it more brief. But
Yeah, I feel you, man. Yeah, I can see the very well delineated gutters there. So you kind of boxing all the panels there into that corner there, and then kind of having the full bleed there on the other side. So yeah, that I mean, of course, depends on the amount of. I mean, you just put the balloons there, but depends on the amount of exposition you're going to have. The problem that I have is that I'll have a page similar to this, and then I go wild on the backgrounds. I make every single background, even though sometimes just a close up, and I don't really need a background, but I still make a few lines there just to, to give an indication of space, and then I just fill it all up. There's no space for anything. All that detail is gone, and those are the pages that give me the biggest amount of trouble because it's always a battle of me trying to, okay, what am I going to lose here? I know I don't need this many backgrounds, but I still want to fudge them here and there, right? So am I going to lose the backgrounds, or am I going to lose the exposition? Meaning because I'm always quite happy to reduce the amount of exposition, which is always editing. That's always editing, because when you're writing, I'm sure all of us, you're gonna write like a writer. You're gonna go wild on it, right? First draft, you just put it a lot of mumbo jumbo, right? Second draft, you realize half of this can go. Or some guys probably can get it right on the first draft, but I can never do that. I just put way too much stuff on the first draft. Second draft, I started reducing it, and by the third draft, that's when I call a friend. It wants to be the millionaire situation. Yeah, that's when I get to the third question. That's when I call a friend or ask the audience, and then that's it. I start thinking, okay, this really, Twitter. I found Twitter actually a very useful tool because you only have a certain amount of characters you can put in on each tweet. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I advise this for anyone watching this right now or any aspiring writers. You want to reduce the amount of exposition on your book. Write each speech, it's each balloon of a character on your tweet. If he goes beyond the tweet, you cannot he goes into red, so you expire the amount of characters. That means your balloon is too long. So straight away you know how to edit it. I mean, obviously you should never have more than 4 lines in a speech balloon. You can have more, obviously, if it is a very big page with a spread, and you only have one guy talking and he's got a shit ton of stuff to say. Now, obviously, you can have, you have 8 lines, go wild, have 10 lines. You will not look good, but you can have it. But if you're going at it like this, where you have 5, 6, 7, 8 panels, yeah, well, use Twit. Use Twitter is actually a good tool for that. It's like a good script tool. It
I'm
helps
also
you.
trying to like make it so that like there's space and there's room, but each panel is like dynamic, at least when it comes to reading. So I do a lot of like flipping, like between these perspectives here and then flipping it for this one here.
Mhm.
And then flipping it again for this. And then even in here, it's a lot of like, even this is just here. It's just, again, it's like, it's resetting. It's almost like a setup shot. It's a land, like a, oh my God, I can't even think of the word. Oh, Jesus, what is it called? Establishing shot,
Yeah, establishing shot,
because their positions there come into it a bit more in about 2 pages becomes pretty important, And then it's like, Death's Warren is pulling this piece of paper out of his top, and that's something that was featured in 1 that sort of carries on through. And so trying to keep everyone doing something so it's not just heads, with balloons.
Yeah,
Telling a visual story along with it,
Canales, and you guys have any trouble with this as well, with your exposition bits, your exposition pages?
Absolutely. See, the first issue of Wester is actually quite full of exposition, and I've been struggling to make it exciting to read. So what I've been trying to do is make it visual, right? And that's where the idea of these ghosts come in, where basically the events that happened there in the past are shown there sort of like through his eyes, where he imagines what happened there. So and it came out looking actually quite interestingly when I actually have action sequences where there are none, if that makes sense. So he imagines these battles which aren't exactly happening, but you get some sort of action from it at least.
Yeah.
What do you
No,
mean?
it looks. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was trying to grasp the concept that Jakub
Yeah.
was explaining.
I can show you on some already some pages I've already done. Let me just let them pull out.
Well, Jakub was getting there. Yeah, Canales. I mean, your online web comic. You got some heavy exposition here and there as well, isn't it? From what I've read of it.
You mean on Decimators? You mean?
Yeah, the Decimators.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially in the first pages, in which I had to, set up the whole mythology, the whole universe, and explain it to the readers. So I basically plagiarized Frank Miller because I think he's great when it comes to expose stuff to the reader and not make it boring. You know, he plays with the panel and the balloon placements, so it will make like this kind of picture of like a diagram or something, and it will be like appealing to read. So that's what I try to do. And I think Sean Murphy does that a lot too. He plays with the whole, you know, with the whole panel thing, with the margins and all that. So yeah, hopefully I didn't bore anyone.
You're happy with the final results? Is this something you usually need some editing with? You get a guy to help
I
you out
I,
or
I
anyone?
did I did consult with one of my American friends who's a writer, and he was pretty happy with it. He told me it's a bit wordy, but you know I understand why. It's pleasant to read, but yeah, usually I like to always have a second opinion on when the characters are not beating the shit out of each other. You know, like that's those are the difficult bits to draw.
Mm.
Yeah, one of the things I use in Deathsworn, because I knew I'd have like a, like a recap sort of paragraph at least for each issue on the inside cover, So I used the first inside cover as like almost like an open and crawl, like a Star Wars sort of thing, just to give the basics of the universe, the sort of,
Oh,
and
I've
set
seen
it up.
that. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
in that's on the other side of your front cover, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah, that's good. I mean, that's like the recap of the previous chapters, like the recap blurb. Yeah,
yeah.
well, I think
But yeah, in
everybody
the
can do
first one, it works like an open and crawl though. Like in the first one, it's actually like in the first issue, it's just like a introduction to the world.
that. Yeah, it is. So, Jacob, you got that budge you wanted to show? I think he's still getting it. Okay, let's have a look at Canales' Indiegogo.
Yes, let's see if we have another buy or
Yeah.
what.
We'll go here back to our charity line. See if we can grab any more funds.
No,
He's
I
still at
think
920, I'm afraid.
yeah, we still remain stable. Well, it's
Yeah,
not bad for just one day, for just a couple of hours to have
yeah, no,
one
of course.
20 bucks. That's wow.
Well, these are your core fans. This is going to be all the feminists, yeah? So they're buying straight away. First
Hey,
dib.
hey, hopefully the blue-haired creature and her minions will buy it just to roast it. You know,
Mm.
if they roast it, if they pay for it, they can do whatever the hell they want with it. I'm not particular.
Oh, yeah, straight away, the first ones in are the guys that are going to buy your copies, and they're gonna start analyzing page by page, trashing it.
One of 34.
1 of 34. You see this point of view here? I mean, what is exactly this? This cannot. This doesn't make any sense. It shouldn't be here.
This
It
is
should
this
be
is
there.
this is how you know that these people don't have a life and don't have hobbies, and they're probably unemployed and living on the dole
Yeah.
because they can afford to write 34 tweet long criticism of basically nitpicking your comics.
Hmm. Yeah.
Come on, man. Can you just do like a 10-minute video and that's it?
Well, they cannot afford a camera, can they? It's asking too much.
But I think they have terrible people skills, so I don't think they see themselves talking to a camera being charismatic or anything like that.
Well, they can. Well, I guess they would be doing an edited video, isn't it? Without talking at all. I mean, without showing their faces, just showing your
Yeah,
pages one by one.
yeah, well, a text to speech program or something like that.
And they're scared they're going to get the copyright strike. Would you copyright strike these guys? You should.
Nah, I'm not that cheap, but maybe I should because they actually admitted to purchasing iron sights illegally. They
Yes,
didn't pay for it, so
that is right.
I don't really like that.
Yes. Well, I think I think you mentioned that just before you got kicked out of Twitter. I think one of your final tweets was that. I think, or someone interceded in your defense and said that. Well, you guys complain about copyright strikes, and then you go and somehow get these scans and all that. So I think that was either you or someone else. But
Yeah, it's probably someone else. I was probably too busy laughing my ass off
yeah, it's
because
okay.
I always do the thing that pisses them off the most, which is to laugh.
The funny thing is that with these people, I mean, um, I'm just gonna take the picture of my stuff, put it on Canales. Uh, this is true, man, because every time I kind of think um to give some to give some benefit of the doubt to people, to these kind of people. I mean, all these again, this is the culture war, right? I mean, this is not some guys on Twitter or some silly supporters of whoever is writing at Marvel at the moment. It's not about that. This is about a general culture war that is as bigger, more serious ramifications throughout the society, because I think he gets obviously into structures of companies and jobs and academia as well. I mean, I've been feeling this and fighting this kind of crap since I was a teen
It's this is,
back in the
this is my
80s.
turn to put on my tinfoil Alex Jones conspiracy hat. But in my opinion, they're trying to establish what I like to call uh, a corporatocratic socialism, by which we're going to live in a socialist country, but the government won't be in charge, or rather, the government will be in charge, but through the private companies that own it. Like, just like what this crazy person, Brianna Wu, proposed, that the government should regulate
Yes.
movie reviews. That's insane.
Yeah, I
That's
saw that just today. Yeah, that came out yesterday, wasn't it?
that's Stalinist Russia, but run by a corporation, which is
Yeah.
exactly, if you ask me, that's exactly what they're trying to do.
Well, yeah, but I wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't going. Oh, well, that is true. Yeah, but we got the footage. We got the footage. I wasn't getting that there yet. That's the most serious implication of it. I was just thinking at the more ground level. All these people that are permanently offended with everything, and this is
Oh,
the
those are the useful idiots. Those are the shock troopers of the new world order, in my opinion, of course.
yeah. But this is the point that needs to be made, because all these, you got all these YouTubers, making very good living with making these videos, parodying these people. And for anyone, you know obviously, it just becomes a little bit too much of an influx of that sort of stuff. Sometimes it becomes an exaggeration. Obviously, it's a bit too much for drama in it. But the thing is, any criticism aimed at people which are permanently on Twitter, saying they're offended about everything and calling everybody literal Nazis and sexual offenders and all that crap, right? I got to say something, right? Um, every time I want to give the benefit of the doubt to, whatever you want to call him, an SJW, crazy feminist, or a snowflake, or whatever. Every time I want to give a benefit of the doubt to any person like this in real life, I regret. I seriously regret it, because this happens now at every level of society. In your job, when you're walking in the street, when you're commuting in the train, and women think that you're man spreading whatever, right? It's this is has become really, this is why I'm saying is a culture war is a reality. Is this really has become something that's so ingrained in some people that they really kind of breathe it in and they breathe it out. There's no other way about it. As I'll give you guys just one example, and then that's it. I'm dealing with stuff, with people at the retail level. It's just normies, yeah. And then just I was just a couple of days ago, I was explaining to someone, but just briefly, a customer that I have to deal with, and obviously I'm not going to overbear the customer, and I'm just briefly explaining to him how discounts work at the corporate level. That basically the company wants the customer to spend some money in order to give him a bonus. Uh, so it's a catch 22 kind of thing. It's a 101 of corporation, right? It's a 101 of commerce, of retail rules. But it's always open to discussion. I mean, in terms of the opinion that you might have about it is open to discussion, right? So, and an argument ensued. Well, an attempt to an argument ensued between me and the customer, which went something around these lines. And I don't want to overbear you guys with details because this anyway was something that took a couple of minutes. But just for you guys to have an idea, this guy, typical SJW, right? I know the guy. I've dealt with him before. Perfectly fine to deal with the guy again, but things that the guy comes to me and starts saying, well, I don't agree with that. And I said to him, I simply say to him, well, I'm not going to go get into the semantics of it, and he got triggered when I said that to him. He got triggered. Well, no, but you're implying, he said to me. Oh, here we go. He got triggered. The snowflake got triggered. Listen, man, I'm not implying, and this is not I'm not trying to um it's not a remark, it's not even a comment. This is not me trying to pretend I'm superior than you in any way. I'm just giving you the gist, of what the intention of the corporation is. I mean, because I know I work for these people, so I know what's the mentality behind this discount that is offered to the consumer, right? It's that they want you to spend money in order to have the bonus. So the bonus, and he goes into, well, it's not the bonus. I think it's already mine. And again, he goes into the semantics of it. Really, he was interpreting the meaning of the words. And I said to him, okay, but I'm not talking about the meaning of the words here. You can arrange the definition of this in any way you want. All I'm trying to explain to you very quickly is the idea behind it, right? And I tell you guys, it was impossible. The guy, he got so fussed about it that the guy start turning red. So these
No,
people,
I remember. Yeah, yeah, no, I remember having a relationship with an SJW not long ago, and I had to avoid all and every controversial issue because I remember one time we tried to debate, and she went almost like like a robot or something. It was downright scary to watch because you were like, listen, you're not understanding what I'm trying to tell you. And she was like, yes, I do understand, I do, but no, but yes, I do. And it was creepy, man. It was like watching a robot glitch.
yes, it is true. So everyone thinking that a lot of times the there's a caricature of these people, so an exaggeration of how they are, and we're just trying to be mean. We're just trying to be mean and disrespectful. It is not like that, guys. I mean, really. I mean, if someone goes through life never actually meeting anyone like this, wonderful. You've been lucky. But I tell you, these people exist, and they don't exist like one or two in every city. It exists in every city by the thousands. It's
Yeah, no, they're
very
they're
easy to come
mass
across them.
produced by they're being mass produced by the media and the academia, and they're trying to recruit pop culture into the breathing machine. That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, and that's when it gets sinister. That's the bit that you were saying in the beginning. So beyond because people, they get very easily stressed and they're very easily manipulated, right? So at the ground level, we have the culture war, but then it becomes something more sinister, which is what you're saying, is when actually corporations take advantage of that easy panic that a lot of people in society will have, and then suddenly they start pulling the strings, and that is the problem that we're having now. That becomes bigger, becomes more sinister, and affects people's jobs, affects people's lives, and again, it affects students in colleges. Affects everyone. Kids are being pressured in colleges, in universities to learn things they don't want to learn, and having that peer pressure around them from teachers and other colleagues to accept certain norms and conduct in a certain way, and all that then spills out. This crap with the pronouns, and oh, you said semantics. I got triggered with that word, and now I'm upset with it. Oh man, come on, calm down, dude. I was just saying I don't want to have the argument with you, and you're having the argument with me. Hey,
Well,
Jacob,
I gotta drop out because my battery is dying and I need to have dinner. So yeah, I'm
you're
gonna do
having
the Spanish thing and just, yeah. I'm sorry.
That's fine, but just show me your drawing, man, because I can't see your I can't see your rack. I saw I
You
saw a
can see
rack
the
earlier on.
E-ray.
It looked big.
Okay.
There we go.
What
Okay,
do you guys
so
think? How does it look?
that's Kelly Sue McDormick, isn't it?
Of course, you.
Well, that's
Of course.
Brianna.
I'm actually trying to hit on her, so she will dump my
Mm,
collection and go out with me because I have this thing for SJW women. I don't know.
yeah.
It's a weird thing. I
Well,
can't explain it.
you got the right glasses, got their lips. Yeah, that looks good. If she kept her mouth shut, she would actually be, she would actually be
Oh,
attractive
oh,
enough.
oh, stop! I'm being really turned on by this stream.
Mm, let's just have a final look here before you go because you gotta have your dinner in the chicken shop. Yeah, man. Look, I'm sorry. We were only able to sell one book, but hey, at least
No,
he's
no,
one.
it's that was more than enough. I appreciate the support.
All right, man.
So yeah, thanks for having me, guys. It's been great as always.
Yeah, no problem. Our pleasure. Come back again next week.
See you, man.
Thanks.
See
I'll
you.
see you then. Now, before we're left here alone, um, poor Jacob is having problems with his PC again. I think he was switching to his camera to go and get some pages. I'm not sure if he was getting printouts or not, but he's been complaining about his computer. Let me just see if let me just send him a message here.
My phone.
Was Canales still on?
Please, my car.
I think Canales is still on.
Oh yeah, Canales is still on, and now you're gonna hear him having dinner. Let me just go here and I'm gonna focus the camera on you. Just present your screen before we see something Canales doesn't want us to see.
Yeah.
Like suddenly the camera kind of falls and kind of ends up on the table, but focusing on Canales he turns his back to the camera and takes his trousers off to go and have a shower, and then that's it. The stream crashes because all these fans are gonna go like, "Ah!"
You get permanent ban on your channel.
Yeah, I'll get the strike, get a copyright strike. His material is trademarked. His Canales butt is trademarked. Cannot show that. Let's just gotta.
Yeah, it's funny when you guys are talking about the whole the corporate, the sort of I suppose it's sort of like a corporatization of morality. That's kind of really the problem, like. But you guys were talking about International Women's Day
Mm-hmm.
just before I came on, and I only
Yeah,
found out like the other day that that's actually like a communist holiday.
I wasn't. I've been hearing that, but I don't know where he comes from. So there you go. I mean, you're probably
No,
absolutely
it
right.
was actually like started by like the Workers' Party or whatever in Russia, and
Mm-hmm.
then Lenin actually declared it an official day in 1911, I think.
Mm-hmm.
1910, 1911.
Yeah. Well, that's 1911,
Yeah.
1910. Oh, that was before the Russian Revolution then. 1910, 1911. Oh, that's strange. Well, it doesn't surprise me, huh? Because that's when you start getting all the unions worked up. That would be shown in Warren's Beatty movie Rats. If anyone wanting the whole story without having to read it, just watch that movie, which is incredibly boring, but it's actually well done. So, well, I think Jacob cannot join us anymore because I think he's been complaining about. Well, yeah. Yeah, I think he can join us on his phone. Right, we're still here. know that space, know that airtime. Just trying to get Jacob back on the stream.
Yeah, I was thinking about it here, but I'm not even going to go down that rabbit hole.
Mm. You just
All I know is it's pretty shitty for like the Soviets to have an International Women's Day. Some of the stuff I read about like Soviets sending women in the battle and stuff is pretty horrendous.
well, that was probably in the Second World War, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, but I've even read about some of the Gulag stuff, and Jesus, I remember hearing about I think they called them the cold cells, and these were the cells that were like
Yeah,
up in I think it was the north, like the coldest parts of the country.
Siberia.
And there was one case where uh, these were the ones that weren't insulated or anything. Like if you were sent to like the Lubyanka or something, you were well. I mean, you weren't lucky because they would use the insulation as a form of torture. But
Hmm.
the cells would have to have like a really sophisticated. It was a cork heating system built into each cell because it was so cold.
Right.
And I mean, they even used that against people because they would basically torture you by heating it up till you blood came out of your pores. You
Wow.
sweated blood, and then that's how they'd get people to. That was just one form of interrogation that they would use to get you to sign your confessions or whatever. And
Yeah.
but I remember reading about one case where it was, I think it was a 17-year-old girl or an 18-year-old girl sent to the cold cells, and what they would do is uh, they would fill up to your ankle with water in the coal cells and
Right.
throw you in naked.
Right.
So you couldn't do anything. You
Mm.
couldn't sleep. You couldn't. If you slept, I mean, you would have been up to your like your neck in water.
Right.
If you tried to lie down,
Yeah. Good.
So you just kind of had to stand until you got like frostbite in your
Right.
ankles.
Well, I mean, the thing of sending women into battle, I'm pretty sure that was Stalingrad. I think the front line when the Germans were trying to get in. But then again, I'm sure they've done that throughout history. But yeah, that is the most known case where they would send just literally everyone that was able to walk. It would just go to the front line of Stalingrad. And actually, that's very well told in Enemy at the Gates. So that's a good movie as well. Anyone haven't watched that yet? That's Ron Perlman, our only Hellboy, deserving of the title. He's a sniper in it. Yes, and Jude Law, which is well, I think he's supposed to be playing Captain Marvel in the Captain Marvel movie. So, but I'm not sure if it's the
Oh,
same character.
he's not playing Marvel.
It's not Marvel proper, but it kind of takes on the mantle, isn't it? It's,
I think it's like yeah, I heard that there's like a switcheroo with the role, like so you're supposed to think he's Marvel, but he's
yeah.
not. He's some other dude completely.
Well, again, he won't mean anything to modern audiences because, I mean, again, what the guys are saying about really this character being a bit inconsequential. I completely agree with them. Listen, this character came out. What was it, back in '77 or '78? I can't remember, man. But when he came out, I found her cool. She had that perm haircut, and she had the scarf, and she had the mask, and then she had a tight kind of a swimsuit, and everything was exposed from the waist down. Apart that she had some knee-high boots, and I always found it was quite risque, kind of what sexy, but kind of weird design. And obviously, they took one notch up then in the '80s when they redesigned her with the lightning. They changed the star for the lightning across her. Again, they kept the swimsuit, and the scarf went to the waist, so it became just this little thing hanging. So there, she really became a vixen in the '80s. I mean, everything. But she wasn't much of a character when she came out. But I remember she had a bit of a feminist vibe about her. but it was different. It was the 70s. It was a different kind of a vibe. It was more like a can-do girl, you know. Yeah, I can do whatever a man does, you know, better like that, but not as aggressive as it is now. Obviously, that didn't exist at that time. And I always thought to myself, okay, this is just, you know, it's just a rehash of the male Captain Marvel. So they knew they do Miss Marvel, you know. So okay, it's what Marvel used to do, you know, back in the 70s, you know, because it was mostly aimed at teens. So writing
I
only.
also heard that it was a big, it was also a big push for like, for a while they were going mad trying to get like to publish like the whole origin story, like not the origin story, but the reason why Spider Woman exists is because they had Spider Man and they didn't want anyone else to get Spider Woman, so they were like, just make up a character called Spider Woman, so we have that name, you know,
Could
because it's
be.
like Marvel have Wonder Man. That always, like when I was a kid, I never got that because I always thought Wonder Man would be, surely that's the man version of Wonder Woman, you know?
Yeah, I never really got into that character. I never really
No,
understood.
he's trash, garbage.
Yeah,
He's like Captain Marvel. He's just trash.
yeah, I never understood why he was there. I never really, because they always constantly try to have a character that can kind of be a facsimile of Superman, isn't it? And that's what Marvel always lacked, was have a guy as powerful as Superman, which doesn't make sense because that's not what Marvel is about. It's not about gods and aliens, it's about, you know, the everyday guy that stumbles upon something and there you go. But they always wanted that. So throughout their history, they kept on coming up with these characters. It was either Captain Marvel, or it was Wonder Man, or it was Thor, or he was Sentry. And they're always looking for the Superman. So they always say, "Oh yeah, this guy's the most powerful guy that exists. Sentry, that's it. He's the guy. He's the guy that can do anything. He can be Dragon Ball, all this crap." That's like, I mean, again, you have Thor. That's it. It's enough. I mean, he's got red, blue. He's got a bit of black in him. That's it. That's your Superman. You don't need anyone else. But they insisted in having this formula, that they want to come up with this formula, you know. And so all these characters, they never really said anything to me. I mean, Wonder Man, I can't even remember seeing him before halfway through the 80s. I know he was there since 19, I don't know, 68 or 69, or maybe he was introduced shortly after that. And only after I read a few more issues of the Avengers back in the 80s with him, and he was usually paired up with the Beast. They used to make a duo for quite a few issues. I don't think if they have a standalone title, but they used, definitely in the Avengers, they used to hang out
Oh yeah,
together.
wasn't that the West Coast?
Before that, in the normal continuity, before they separated the guys, I'm talking about, this is in the timeline of publication, this is like 83, 84. That West Coast stuff comes later in 86 or 87, something like that. I mean, again, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's past mid 80s. So I'm really talking about the first half of the decade. And it was Hank McCoy and Wonder Man. Yeah, something like that. They would show up in like little stories together. And I couldn't even remember, who the hell is this guy? He was wearing the safari jacket back then, with these little booster things on his boots or whatever, allowed him to fly or something. And I'm like, who is this guy, Wonder Man? And then I remember I had seen him before with his normal uniform with the W on it, going around his waist. And he was like nothing of a character to me. I'm like, it doesn't mean anything. It's like he fancies himself a Hollywood star or whatever it is. That's what his alter ego is about. But I'm like, what the hell is Wonder Man, you know? And then they did again the same thing with the Sentry. And I gotta say, the Sentry is kind of an interesting concept, because he's the guy that has been forgotten by everyone, because his nemesis made everyone forget about him. Well, that's an interesting concept. And then the guy's so powerful that, you know, he has this double personality, isn't it? It's got this problem in actually assuming who he is, because he's so powerful he cannot understand. He cannot grasp the concept of himself. So again, he's got layers to it. But I don't have patience to read it. I do not know what the sentry is. I know what is the concept, and I read a couple of stories where he's in, but he never does anything. He just shows up, and everybody's always hoping that he shows up, like
Yeah,
World War Hulk. That was the whole thing about World War Hulk was him gonna have to fight the sentry. And I read that crap until I finally got tired of waiting for Sentry. It never showed up.
yeah. I have that Sentry collection around here, and all I've ever done is like I look through it every now and then. I've never been bothered to read it, you know. But it kind
Yeah.
of, it goes through it kind of, yeah, makes him fit like he was a Marvel character. Like they, you can see the artist is trying to do like Jack Kirby,
Hmm.
like the Jack Kirby version, and then as it goes on, and he does the whole like Frank Miller version in the 80s.
I've
Sandra
But
noticed that.
doesn't really feel like Marvel character at all to me. I'm back, by the way. Hello.
No, yeah. I mean, did you manage to? Okay, that's good. Your computer
Yeah,
is been what? Been disconnecting, or is it burning up?
it basically shut down. Yeah,
Shut down. Yeah, you had that problem before, man.
yeah, man.
Um,
I mean, yeah, it is what it is.
oh,
It's
we're gonna.
unfortunate, but I'm back now. So
Okay, well, it's like this. Mark White has his GoFundMe. Yeah, are we gonna do one for you, man? That's it. You GoFundMe Shabby's new computer. This is unacceptable, man. That's it.
yeah.
how big are
How
you?
much you want?
How big are you drawn? Like, what size file?
Uh, oh, quite a lot actually.
Are you
Because
drawing print size or actual size? Like,
I use 600 DPI and yeah, just because I wanted kind of
That's okay, man.
quality. Uh, but yeah, the files are insanely huge. So
yeah, I just
that's
try to. I used to. I draw app print size.
Mhm.
So the file is actually like the printed page size with the bleed and trim and
Yeah, I
whatever.
do too. I
And
think I
then,
do too.
oh yeah, yeah, but it can like if you're drawing like 600 DPI, but you're drawing at like 11 by 17 inches,
Mhm.
like inches is like, whew, like you're drawing artboard size.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I draw like print size.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really? Really? That's interesting to know. You draw a print size. Wow.
Yeah, I used to do all that stuff like the draw 600 for 600 at like artboard size, and
Mhm.
then I was doing that all during college, and then I had to like go on a shitty computer temporarily, so I
Hmm.
couldn't really do it, and then I noticed there was no real difference like in the actual printing, and then especially when I started to do like bigger scale work, and you kind of learn like if you're doing a billboard, you actually make a billboard's actually really low quality prints because you're looking at them from farther away.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I learned that like printing off my own banners and stuff, like blowing up work that I thought would just look terrible blown up, and then you see it printed and you're like, oh no, it's like it doesn't work that way.
Mm.
Yeah.
The
Really?
sort of
See,
yeah,
that's a
because
human mistake.
That's
I mean
always the
like
worry that I had if I blow up things like for a banner for a convention, right? And it's just like a panel. You quite like it and you want to blow it up or some character or whatever in a vanilla pose. I always worried about that. Well, you don't lose definition, obviously, but you kind of think it's not going to look right.
yeah,
So
but what you don't take into consideration is like you're not looking at it you're not holding it up to your face like a piece of paper. You actually the bigger something is, the farther away from it you are looking at it.
that is true. But listen, but even though there is no difference in your print size work and the actual print, because obviously it's 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 the print is the physical copy, so you won't notice the difference. But in terms of how you're working, isn't it more taxing? Don't you have to zoom in to do certain details since you're doing it digitally?
Well, you can, and that's the thing with digital, that it's sort of a double-edged sword of the zoom function, where you can zoom in basically Look how close I can just zoom in, right? I can almost do that's his eyes very detailed, and you would
Yeah,
never
see
see
that,
it.
but that, yeah, that's definitely where you're gonna get in trouble printing.
Oh yeah, so
I
you
mean,
would
not,
never see it.
yeah, that's almost why you're better off doing lower, because
Mhm.
you're not gonna waste time really, like going into crazy detail.
Yeah.
Mm.
I kind of do try to limit myself to zooming in on the width of the page, like this. So I wouldn't probably go like this, right? This is too much. So I just want to see the width of the page, and that's the max I allow myself to zoom in.
Mhm.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. By the way, guys, you now hold the stream for me while I just excuse myself for a couple of minutes while you guys deal with your digital situation there. Okay, I'll
Yeah,
just
no
drop out
problem,
for
man.
2 minutes. I'll come back in a second.
Absolutely. Bye. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I'm down to 400 DPI at print size. So
Mhm.
like it, because there's this button here. Actually, this would be good for you because if you set your file up to print size,
Mhm.
there's like a print size button, and there's a ruler. I don't know if you've done
Okay.
this. If you go into preferences,
Mhm.
I think it's preferences. Yeah, preferences, and then you see is it this?
Right.
Yeah, here. There's this thing here called display resolution. You pick
Mhm.
settings, and then a ruler comes up on the screen. Basically, what you want to do is you want to grab a real life ruler and put it up to the screen
Oh, I
and make
see. So it's one to
yeah
one.
yeah make sure that it's 1 to 1, and then that sets it up so that whatever file file size you make it like
Oh.
so you hit this button, this widget here, print size, that you can, I don't know, there's something in preferences that you can get
Mhm.
up there. It's basically just, it's a printer, but it has the
Yeah.
borders of the thing on it. If you hit that, then it shows you it in print size, how it will actually print, you know.
Oh, I see.
And then I have in my own file setups, because I don't like you, the way you have your file set up with the extra like load of trim on it. I have it kind of set up to like
Oh, yeah.
that's the trim. So I have like a window on it that I can click on and off.
Mm. Oh, that's actually really helpful.
So yeah, that stuff's sort of
Yeah,
handy to get a better feel for how it's gonna look.
yeah, absolutely. Have you have you did any course for this, or are you just self-taught? 'Cause,
No,
man,
self sort of. I mean, I don't think there is a clip studio paint.
yeah.
Like I was saying, I was, like when I was in college, it was like a 2-year course, and there was like Illustrator
Mhm.
and Photoshop classes. But I already, because I knew Clip Studio, I knew Photoshop. But I was bringing in files. I was bringing in Clip Studio files, being like, I can't open this because
Yeah.
your shitty fucking your shitty computers won't let me open my Clip Studio.
Now, we're not going to have these words around here. You just
Hey,
said
you were supposed to
socialism.
be away.
Now,
Yeah.
for anyone not knowing, there's a movie called "How Green Was My Valley." Yeah, as one of the greatest movies ever done. It's an old movie, black and white, 1940 something. Sean Ford is the director. Used to be a big famous director of mostly of westerns. And this is a movie everybody should watch. This is a movie everyone should watch today. Meaning, this is a film that will never age, and it's perfect antidote for this day and age. I mean, John Ford was a proper Republican, He's a old school guy, yeah, and this is a story about a family. Um, well, actually, is they're not they're miners, and it is supposed to be set in Ireland because John Ford was, I can't remember if he was Irish or Welsh, but
Mhm.
the story is set either, well, it's Ireland, I think. Let me just double check here. I can't forget. I forgot him. I think he's in Wales. Check. Yeah, he's a Welsh mining family. That's right. Yeah, but John Ford was originally, if I remember well, from Ireland, right? This is an American film anyway, and the story. I don't know if any of you guys have ever watched it. Any of you two have ever watched How Green Was My Valley?
No, never
No.
heard of it.
Mm.
Never heard of it.
Oh, you got to check this. You got to check this as soon as you can. It's a great movie. It's one of my favorite movies. Right now, I was never a big fan of the title. The title is actually is a is a play with words because basically what it's referring itself to is that the grass is always greener on the other side of the hill, and that is the point of the title. Is basically putting it. The title is saying that you are on the other side of the hill. You understand where the grass is greener. Hence the title, "How Green Was My Valley." So, but I never actually. I don't think. I don't think the title actually suits the movie. But I can't think of another title for the movie. But yeah, it is what it is. But I think that's the only thing that is a minus in the movie because the movie really is brutal, and is exactly that. It's like this guy, the father, the head of the family, is a proper patriarch, So the guy, he's got his rules, and everybody in the house has to obey them, right? But this is just as the movie starts. This is how you look at it, yeah. But then as the movie goes on, you discover that everybody in the house has true respect for everyone else. So like the mother is on equal level as the father. She's a mother. She takes care of her kids and all that crap. Yeah, takes care of the house. But the thing is that the man the men in the family have really really grueling jobs. They got to go down to the mines, yeah, the coal mines, and they died throughout the movie basically. And in the end, it doesn't matter to spoil it because it's a very old movie, but the father dies in the end because it's a very tough job. So, but the mother, and I was talking about this movie the other day again with a guy that is very much a social justice warrior. And he likes this movie as well, but he doesn't like it for the same reasons I do. And I say, this is exactly the antidote to this crap that is going on. I mean, everybody should watch this movie, especially the feminists, because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about when they criticize the patriarchy. This is exactly what they should watch, because the patriarchy in this movie is very similar to what the real patriarchy used to be, which was the man, just like today, at the shittiest jobs, the most difficult ones. They bring the bread home, and then the women organize the bread. And there's mutual respect. So the woman respects the man, and the man respects the woman. And there's the ultimate sacrifice in the movie is actually done by the mother, which they're already, both the mother and the father, they're already kind of advanced age because they have like 5 kids or whatever it is, and the oldest one is almost 30. 26, I think, by the time he gets married or whatever. And they all work in the mines. But the mother, actually, halfway through the movie, the youngest son, which is played by, what's that guy? Roddy McDowell, which is the guy in Planet of the Apes. And you'll know him from Fright Night. That plays the actor that the kid goes to help him fight the vampires in Fright Night, Roddy McDowell. So he's the youngest kid. It's his first part. He's just a kid in the movie, yeah. And basically, he falls in the ice. It's a winter, and he falls in the ice, and the mother throws herself into the icy waters to rescue. It's brutal, man. It's really well done. Again, she's not a young woman anymore. She, without thinking twice, she throws herself. So throughout the movie, you see that women have amazing strength. There's a young daughter falls in love with a priest, and again she has to face the society, and she's being criticized by it. And again, she's got a huge amount of character. These women are very powerful, both physically and dramatically. And this is exactly the sort of movie that everybody should watch, because the respect in the house is amazing. And there's great quotes behind throughout the whole movie, when basically the sons of the house, they want to join a union, and they want to, they're complaining about their job working conditions. Yeah. And this is very well presented, the reason why they they're against certain rules, because obviously it was a tough life, and also why the father fights against it, because there's a reason behind it. It's not just upholding respect just for the sake of it, and it's not just like respecting the hierarchy or the traditions. No, there is a reason for it, and the father explains it, and then we see it happening, because obviously is the solution of society. If you start going one way, there are things that are going to be lost forever, and that's the whole point. And this, is something that you cannot fight against it, but at the same time is a loss. And then the father says halfway through, he says, I will have, when the kids are speaking about the unions and all that, and one of them, starts saying socialism, socialism this, socialism that. The father goes like, I will have none of that talk at this table. It's a classic scene, and they get up, the sons, they get up and they walk out, which is really, because by that point you're so used to have the traditional dinner of the family, that suddenly when they do that, you go like, shit, man, you start getting into the movie, you kind of think, well, why do I care about this black and white movie about miners? But it's so well done, and the characters are so amazing, that you feel you're part of that family. Halfway through, you're actually there, actually enjoying a meal with these guys. They're miners, whatever, but they're cool people, and and to prove that, it's so well written, that to prove that the father is not just some tyrannical, bastard, mansplaining his bullshit now. And the kid, which Roddy McDowell, the younger kid, he keeps on banging his cutlery on the plate, and because the father regrets what he said after the kids, the younger, his sons walk out. He regrets, but at the same time, he's not going to take it back, because they're people with integrity. Again, all this has been lost. And he regrets. He's kind of thinking, kind of mulling over, and then without looking at his younger son, he says, "Man, listen, I know you're there. I can hear you banging the cutlery on the plate. I know you want my attention. You're a wonderful kid, but I know you're there. But right now, I cannot engage with you." So I mean, all these little details, on a screenplay and on the way the scenes are played out. This is a beautiful, amazing movie, and this is exactly the sort of thing that should be played every night on TV, because this teaches a real lesson. It's for both sides. There's always. It's not saying that the younger generation was at fault and the guy's right. No, they both have their points. You understand, and it's through dialogue that things are resolved. And that's what this movie shows, through dialogue. This movie criticizes everything, doesn't spare anyone, criticizes religion, criticizes people which are too antiquated and stuck to their beliefs, criticizes the younger people as well, which they want to advance, and that's fine. But sometimes when you advance something too quickly, it's not that good, and it's about, it's got, it deals with women's liberties, within the family and outside of the family, and but the great thing about it, one of the great strengths about it, is every single character is completely fleshed out, and they're real characters. They make sense, they're and if you go, for example, to again, but it's just a movie, in the end of the day, it's just an American movie made to entertain. I think he did got the Oscar for best movie, actually. I think I can remember, but it's an amazing movie anyway. But the thing is that if you go to modern writers, especially these, Kelly Sue McDormicks and these Gail Simons and all that, I they have not seen these things. I mean, maybe they have glanced at it on a Sunday afternoon, maybe if this thing is on TV, but they've never even given a second glance at these kind of movies, these kind of narratives, these classic narratives. There's nothing there for them, and that's their problem. They don't learn these things. They don't want to learn. They don't care. They want to break the rules. Making so edgy, and so rebellious. But this is bullshit. This is this archetypal narrative. There's not just meaning there. There's also a lot of power in it, and by the end of the movie, you kind of think that's it. You respect everyone there. You kind of come out feeling, well, not only is a satisfying story, but they've taught you something. Spending an hour and a half with these characters, they've actually changed your perception of things. For a good way, not a bad way. Because again, everything is very level-headed. Everyone has respect for everyone else, and everyone. There's villains, obviously, and there's good people. Uh, but in terms of the unity of the family, which is what it matters most, because it's a story about the family, basically. That's that's how it enriches you, the narrative and the characters. So when you write your script and when you write your story, if you get to a point that you are trying to make a dramatic arc, when trying to and you have a tight, neat group of characters that are almost like a family, and you want to create friction there and you want to create drama, and you have to kind of level out their personalities and their characters. These kind of stories, these kind of screenplays, these kind of movies, they help. All this helps. So if you absorb all this knowledge, and if you go through this, you experience these viewings, all this helps. And this is what is lacking in a lot of modern narratives, especially in comics, because again, it's a commercial product, and this movie was a commercial product. That you don't feel the richness. You feel that this is clearly someone that just has a small grasp of history and just grab whatever it was a sensational thing from 5 years ago, and bases the whole architecture of his drama around it. Well, it's fine. I mean, it's fine to grab a mediatic event and make something out of it, but they lack. They lack a lot of times. That's why. I still appreciate what Richard Meyer is doing in his channel, criticizing the comics. I still kind of agree with most of what he says, to be honest. I think he kind of thinks similar to me in terms of how narratives are they're supposed to be. Maybe his books won't convey that because might be difficult for him. I don't know. I haven't read one of them yet, but well, apart from what they've scanned from from
Our insights.
our sites and put it
Yeah,
put
I
it
was
online.
thinking about I was actually thinking about that today, about Star Wars, the new Star Wars movies, and like I think we went over it last week when we were talking about Chuck Dixon's rules for
Yeah.
writing. And one of the rules, my favorite two rules, is find something to like about every character, and then find something to dislike about every character. And I often find, especially with my own characters, like it's usually the same thing. Like what I like about them is actually what I dislike too. Because it's how you combat that side of their personality against the other characters. Like Deathsworn's a stubborn arsehole. It's like that's great when he needs to chop someone's head off, but when you need to stop him from chopping someone's head off, it's really hard. Or any of the other guys, it's their strength is like their weakness when it comes into play with the other characters. And like if you look at the new Star Wars movies, everyone is just an asshole. Like no one has any redeemable quality, you know?
Yeah, I felt that.
Like
I wasn't
if you
feeling
look
that.
at like Han Solo, it's
Mhm.
like yeah, he's cocky and he's sure of himself, and but he's a loser. All he has is a dog. His ship is a piece of shit on wheels. Like he has nothing in his life. There's no reason why he shouldn't go on this adventure. And that's one of the qualities. That's kind of like everything he's doing is to protect himself. That's not in those characters now. Like I was thinking about with Poe, that character. Like what's his thing? Like what's his story? He's just He's just great at everything.
Yeah.
Or Ray, or they're like they have no weakness because it's like their actual personality is the weakness. It's like the things that they're trying to pass off as virtues is the weakness, you know?
Yeah,
Mm.
you're right. I
Or
mean,
you have, Luke. Luke is a bit, in the original, Luke is he's a bit what's it like innocent.
oh yeah,
But that's also his strength that he's gonna get himself into trouble without knowing. That he's brave to a fault.
I mean the yeah, what you were saying about the Last Shot. Actually, when I was watching it, I was just hoping to have good time with another Star Wars movie, and actually, it didn't really annoy me when I was watching it, but actually, watching it a second time, just briefly, I didn't have patience to watch the whole thing. I actually found that those scenes in the breach of the rebel ship with Poe and dealing with all these women in charge, they're actually very arrogant scenes. I mean, they purposely made everybody in the hierarchy of the rebellion. They're all women, and kind of it just passed under my share when I was in the cinema. It just went over my head. I wasn't even noticing that. So he's not aggressively in your face, but when you watch it a second time, you do notice how annoying some of those characters are, especially Laura Dern's character, the admiral or whatever she is,
Mm.
the one that throws the ship into hyper
Yeah,
velocity or whatever.
the one that does exactly what she tells Poe not to do.
Yeah, and I was thinking, Jesus Christ, this is exactly the sort of women that I deal with on a daily to day basis. You explain to them that shit is not going to work, and they still fucking go ahead and arrogantly they ignore you, and then
Yeah,
they
well,
go and
well, it's like one of the strangest things about it is that like it's such a weird setup, like to have that put in a movie because you go through a movie to see a hero. It doesn't matter if it's a noir story or if it's just a simple drama. It's like there's always a hero.
yeah,
And she basically like tells one of the characters that you're supposed to see yourself through, like don't ever be a hero.
yeah,
Like you're arguing against the whole point of a movie. In the movie that is like the movie series that is known for basically being like the best modern interpretation of the hero's journey.
yeah. Well, I felt while watching that is again, I didn't really felt much while I was watching it, but one thing I did feel, and this is something that you always feel when you come out of the movie theater, is you after you swallow the whole thing and the digestion is starting, uh, you straight away get that gut feeling. Either it's like, man, that was a great movie, like RoboCop or Raiders of the Lost Ark, or even the Infinity War was actually pretty good, and I kind of thinking, oh, I got to watch this again. And the other feeling is, as I never have seen such an appalling movie that I actually had to walk out. I think once I was pretty close to walk out of a movie. I can remember which one it was, some French crap, I don't know. And but every other movie that you go on, you just have that lukewarm feeling, isn't it? It's like, yeah, yeah. You're not even thinking about it anymore. You're just thinking about the next thing you're gonna do. Hey, shall we go to eat now? Shall we have coffee? Shall we go to the pub? That was the feeling I got as soon as I came out of the Last Jedi, and that's it for me. It's just the movie is dead. It got killed straight away. I mean, it has happened throughout the ages with so many other, you know, run of the mill movies, whatever. The latest actioner or the last horror movie, that I've watched. But I never had experienced that with a Star Wars movie. So I was pretty. I was not negatively disappointed. It was just a blank. The movie was just a blank. That's it. I never have a negative experience with a movie. I either like it very much or it's a me reaction, couldn't care less. It's completely forgettable. And that's really bad. You'd never want a Star Wars movie to be forgotten the next day, is it?
Have you heard the theory that in the Star Wars universe, everyone is basically a bee, and they only appear human to sort of to our perception because they sort of uh, all follow these female leaders, right? So there's Princess Leia, and she's like the queen bee, and everyone is going around her. And then you have in the prequels you had again one female character, and everyone is centered around her and their whole society. And even now you have again sort of like Leia's character and other actually women. So there are these queen bees, and you're supposed to sort of imagine them as humans to get the story, but in reality, everyone is bees there. It's a stupid theory, by the way. I just kind of liked it for what it is.
But where does that theory come from?
I don't know, man. I think I read it on Reddit.
Right.
Uh,
Oh, right. So it's just something that some
oh yeah,
group of people came up with.
it's just these dumb bits of thoughts that come to someone's mind. But I sort of found it entertaining.
Right. Okay, I got it. Yeah, and okay, but when they say bees, they don't they mean metaphorically, isn't it? It's not really bees, actual
No, like
bees, isn't it?
their sort of behavior is bee like.
Right. I mean, that's definitely the feeling that those scenes in the Last Shot I give you after you watch it a second time. I mean, I know some guys. I think some members of the audience nowadays are very smart and they pick up things faster, certainly than the way I
Well, it's
pick
not
them
like
up.
they're it's not like they're really it's not like they're soft-handed, they're basically shoving it down your throat
Yeah,
half of this shit.
yeah.
And
Again,
you're like, ugh.
after a second viewing, I definitely noticed that. But maybe I don't know. Maybe I was preconditioned because I only watched it again after I read a few things, and I watched a few videos of it being disconstructed and criticized. So maybe I was preconditioned to see it that way. I I I def I mean, there was a series of scenes that I didn't felt good with them while I was watching it. Meaning,
The
they were
casino
not
scenes.
necessarily they weren't necessarily giving me a bad taste in my mouth, but they were weird. That's what I wanted to. That's the word I was looking for. They kind of felt weird, but they didn't stand out so bad like a sore thumb.
Oh.
But
See,
they
see, for me,
they
the casino ones for did stand out, and I was like, okay, this is bad.
yeah. I
What
mean,
kind of
the feeling, the whole feeling that the movie gave me again when I came out is that it was written by a kid, a kid in playground, and this is something that a lot of scripts have that problem. The major tent poles. A lot of them feel like a script made by a 10-year-old kid in the playground. Like you get some friends together, they bring the toys, they bring the action figures, and then you start creating these adventures. That when you're a kid, yeah. Oh, what's going to be the play about? Oh, I'm going to be in this spaceship. I'm going to be flying down there, and then you're going to come in with your girlfriend, and you create the stories, and you play for like 2 or 3 hours with the kids in the playground, right? And that's what a lot of scripts feel like. And Last Shadow definitely felt like that, and then that's when I read after that. Ryan Johnson, had rewritten everything from whatever J.J. Abrams left for him with a few bullet points, a few topics. He completely trashed it out, wrote the thing the way he wanted. I only
Well,
read
it
that afterwards, after the
completely
movie.
took characters off of their journey.
Yep.
Like when that movie started off, it basically made it so that the Force Awakens didn't matter. Finn
oh yeah,
uh, Finn had a like actually he kind of stopped being a coward, got some balls, and then he got a lightsaber through his back, right?
Hmm.
And then what's the name of it? Last Jedi opens up and he's in a bubble costume trying to run away. And he's like
Yeah.
a comedy beat. He's like leaking all over the place. And you're like, you just ruined an entire 2 hours that I had invested in this character's journey. You just took it away. Like, did you see the last movie? Because I know I did.
Yeah, I mean that seemed a bit exaggerated. It seemed to be like Monty Python-esque kind of thing.
Yeah, well, it wasn't that character shouldn't be there, like, it's that thing of like I already gave you my 2 hours, and then
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
just you he's back here again. Like I
yeah,
thought we learned something. And then even the way that like so he's trying to run away, and then he goes down and he meets Rose, and they get into their uh kind of scuffle, and she puts him to sleep, and then he wakes up on a trolley, and then he convinces her that they're going to go save the universe. And it's like, you were just trying to run away like 5 minutes ago. And then you wake up a hero. Like,
Hmm.
it would have been better. Like, at least, I mean, it wouldn't have been better, but if instead of getting in the scuffle and being put to sleep, that in their scuffle they actually ended up entering an escape pod and launching it by mistake. And so it doesn't matter if any of them are wannabe heroes, or if they're still cowards. It's like they're off on their journey.
that would have been good actually. Like a forced union,
Yeah. So
not
they
a
yeah.
compromise.
Well, that's story. Like that's
Yeah,
what I'm always trying to do. That just put an obstacle in their way.
yeah, which is the A.
Stop like
The A leads to B and the B leads to C, isn't it? And
yeah. And so they because I think they were getting shot at in their ship at that point. So they get in the escape pod by mistake. It launches while they're tussling and wrestling, and then maybe
yeah,
the escape pod gets hit by a bolt off one of the ships, and it gets taken in by one of the Empire ships, and now they're left in a big Empire ship, and they have to
mm,
figure it out. It's like, what if they figure out someone that's on it? Finn has, because he used to be a stormtrooper, he has intel of who's on it, what they can get from this ship, you
yeah.
know. So it's like, we need to escape, but here's how we escape, and not only can we escape, we can actually get some knowledge.
I mean,
We
I
can
think
we
that
can
was one
help
of
people.
the. I think it was one of the criticisms aimed at that guy, Ryan Johnson, because someone was saying somewhere they shit. I like an old interview at him. This got unearthed, wasn't it? Like with him saying he likes to break conventional narrative rules and all that. I've seen that somewhere, like a younger
Yeah,
Ryan Johnson, like
he said
before.
something like he half of the audience to love it and half of the audience to hate it,
Right?
like
Yeah,
every
it
movie.
was that. That's what I saw. And I saw that, and I thought, well, a lot of these guys, these younger generation of filmmakers, I don't know what schools these guys are going to or whatever. That old thing, you gotta learn the rules before you break them and all that. Okay, I understand all that. That's not about that. The thing is that these guys, a lot of these guys, they say they like to break conventions and all that. I mean, it's like, yeah, but the problem I have with that is that there are certain things in the narrative that you cannot break, because if you break them, it's not a narrative; it's something
Yeah,
else. That is the problem I have with that, and as I think a lot of these guys, they won't even listen to what you're saying. They won't even understand what you're trying to get at. They just dismiss you. No, I just like to break conventions. I learned the conventions. I can break them. Now it's not about that. You can write your checks if you want. What I'm saying is that, the example you provided, like they get into a fight, by mistake, escape pod is activated, and there you go. You have now a new adventure starting, which was organic. It was not forced. You see, that's the thing. The whole scene the dialogue between the two of them, and she coming to realize that the guy was running away or whatever, and that was a saboteur trying to sabotage to run away and all that crap, right? This scene is bad, and he doesn't play well, he doesn't read well, you know. And this is exactly the sort of scene that if you're doing a script read with your actors before the shooting starts, you know, someone somewhere will probably feel it. They will go, "Hey, this scene is not making sense, dude. This scene should not be here." Uh, that's the problem, you know. And straight away, I'm sure these guys say, "No, the scene should be like this because I break conventions." Okay, but this is not about that. You see, these guys, they don't understand that they're so edgy. These guys, they don't understand the distinction between breaking a conventional rule and there's just breaking the narrative flow. That is the problem, you know.
Yeah, but
You
even
can't-
that's that's even touching on part of like the whole idea of the cultural war,
Oh
because
yeah, so part of it.
part of story and part of the idea of heroes is it's basically genetic, like it's the deepest part of us, you know.
Yes, that's
And
the problem.
when you kind of say to those types of people like, no, there is like a thing that sort of definitely uh what's the word, like sort of defines Western culture, that is at this sort of like it's sort of like the soul of people, and those people don't really believe in that. They don't believe that they don't really, I don't think they really believe that there's anything that's actually objective.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. I mean, they kind of deny a lot of things which are natural, and that's why we get all this problem with with this sexual nouns and pronouns, you know, like genders and 59 genders and all this crap. This is basic conventions that they do not accept. So it's not about liking them or not liking them. It's not about, and it's again, this is the whole problem with the culture war, like you're saying. It's not about them not a kind of disagreeing with you just for the sake of disagreeing. No, this is about basic natural biological conventions that they don't believe in. They completely disagree they exist. And again, this is the same thing. Joseph Campbell explains in the opening of Hero of a Thousand Faces. You go around the world, and doesn't matter which continent you are at, people that were completely separated from each other, that evolve in completely different ways, their archetypal story is still the same. It still has the same paces. So this is a biological thing. Is in our psyche. Is somehow, it's not just a cultural thing that was passed on from generations to generations, just out of coincidence. The natives in North America think exactly the same way, people in sub-Sahara think of. Now, this is something that is genetically there somewhere, because there is, I guess, there's a natural, a, a kind of a natural realization that for the way a story is understood, it has to go through that arc.
Yeah, well,
And
it's actually, if you think about like this story and stories, every story has a hero, and a hero is a survival method. It's a means to survive. And we already know, like, it's a scientific fact that, you know, chickens pass on survival methods to their, you know, kids. Like, you can take a chicken and you can breed it for 100 generations in
yeah,
a lab,
mhm,
and then you can take out the 100 chick and you can fly a hawk over it, like the shape of a hawk over it, and the
mhm,
chicken will freak out and it will run away. And it's like
yeah,
same thing with cats. Oh no, with rats. You can breed a rat in a lab for 100 years.
yeah,
Take that rat out and show it a picture of a cat. Uh, Let it smell the scent of a cat, and it will freak out. And it's because that's a survival method. And it's like, yeah, well, for humans, I mean, once we got past the, kill for your food
Mhm.
means of living, and, brutal war and, clan based violence,
Yeah,
once we
which
got
we'll
past
always have
that,
anyway.
it's like, yeah, yeah, but I mean, not in a way of like, not like the
Yeah, no,
Vikings or the Celts or like,
prehistorical times, yes.
yeah, once we got past that, it's like our survival method took on a different meaning,
Yep.
it took on a different idea.
Exactly. That's what it is. It's genetic information stored in your brain. So it's not just a physical. Is not a physical part of yourself. Is well, it is a physical part of yourself. It's part of your biology, but is in your mentality. So it's in your essence. Again, a lot of mammals have that same coding that you just mentioned. The chickens, I mean, a lot of mammals, as soon as and even other animals, as soon as soon as they're hatched or they're born, there's a lot of autonomous thinking going on there. So obviously it's instinct, but their instinct allows them. Turtles know exactly when they hatch they got to go into the ocean or whatever to feed. So all this is part of their biological makeup. And for humans, cannot be any different. It's the same thing. So I think there is a self satisfaction in going through the hero adventure, the hero cycle, the hero structure. There's that. It's a life and death cycle, basically. The hero has to go through these steps, and then in the end, he has his redemption. Can be
Yeah,
negative
and
or it can be positive,
you
but
know,
I think it's part of us. The understanding of that story and the satisfaction of that story is part of us. And these guys, they want to negate that. They don't understand that is a principle that you cannot fight against. That you have to go through that. Now, what you can do is like what Tarantino does. You break the order of things, but the story's still there. In the end of it, Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson, they still have their redemption at the end of Pulp Fiction, simply because he grabs characters which have already died halfway through the movie and he puts them in the end. But that's just the way he organizes the script. But the hero arc is still there. That is what is lovely, with Pulp Fiction. You start where it ends. It ends where it starts, basically. So sorry, I interrupted you.
yeah, no, I was just thinking, yeah, there's these instinctive things with animals that, like, immediately they have to, in order to survive, they have to follow it out. But like, even if you think of the idea of like a human, like we're born, you know, like a year earlier than we should be,
Hmm.
like that's part of, what actually pushed, uh, like evolution between men, to not actually behave like complete savages, to was actually the idea that, like female chimps aren't selective. They don't select a mate, but female humans are, and so that was actually one of the breakdowns
Them
between
hard.
it.
We know that for a fact.
Yeah, yeah,
They're
but
very
the
selective.
reason, the main reason was because there was like an arms race between the the hips of a woman and the head of a child,
Oh,
and
that's
so
yeah.
you kind of had to like, female, what's it, like a relative ancestor, whatever it was between the, actually had to develop a way to, pick a mate that wasn't just going to eat the baby, was going to stand by and protect the woman and the child, and wasn't just going to be a savage, and that's the story of Beauty and the Beast, like essentially.
I mean, listen. Throughout ages, I mean, he just gets back to the International Women's Day, isn't it? Because that's the thing. Women are, they keep on saying they're victims, but really, I mean, mostly pampered by the males of the species throughout the ages. I don't like to say this, but it is.
Well, I think it's both ways. I think it's like most of human history is men and women helping each other.
Yes, but I also feel that I think women's lives. I mean, obviously, we're excluding crap regimes, like like the ones we were speaking earlier on about the gulags and all that. We're excluding exceptions. Because those guys are usually, those situations are bad for everyone. It's not just for the women. Women will obviously have be tortured in some ways, and men will not. But the point is, it's not particularly aimed at women. It's just crap regimes for everyone. But I think that, in general rule, the male of the species, the human species, has done a lot for the female, because in terms of comfort of what women today in the evolved part of the world, I mean, they have everything to make their lives, at least bearable, and in most people's lives, very pleasant, very comfortable. I mean, from healthcare to opportunities and all that, right? I mean, even talking about wage disparity and all that, that's a different conversation. Um, but the thing is that you know the females of species, they're not necessarily I mean, obviously, we're the only ones that can do that. We can appreciate the beauty of the female of the species and all, and kind of put her in a pedestal and all that. But to be honest, if you look at the animal kingdom, the females of the species, they're generally there. Um, well, first of all, they're quite matriarchal. For example, you're talking about bees, right? I mean, in most insects um, colonies, the female is the gender in charge. So the bees, the ants, is all around the female. And if we're in the insects, for example, we got the black widow, and both the most species of spiders, and then you have the praying mantis and all that. I mean, these are creatures that kill the males after copulation has occurred. So the male is really just a tool in most of the animal kingdom, and then as you evolve up to the bigger animals, then you have mutual interactions. Well, okay, fair enough. The lions have have a harem, they have a bunch of concubines. Fair enough. But for example, then there is the swans. They mate for life, isn't it? But between the lions, though, there's a lot of respect between the felines. Like you're saying, mutual respect between both genders. Kind of, the lion knows where not to step his toes against the lioness, and quid pro quo. Then finally you come to the humans. And and the human is not much different. The male of the species doesn't act much more different than the insects, because he just goes after the women and does whatever they want and puts them on pedestals. So again, I mean, it really is like that throughout the animal kingdom. The females tend to be, they tend to have the higher position, to be honest. The thing is that obviously the males usually do the harder work, and that's why they're seen as the stronger gender, and that's why the perception of civilization is that men are generally in charge. But to be honest,
that goes back to the even that goes back to the idea of the narrative. Like I have a book. Oh, what's it called? It's called King, Warrior, Magician, Lover. Rediscovering the archetypes of the mature masculine, and it's sort of like a breakdown. It has some really cool diagrams in it and stuff that sort of breaks down, the inverse and the sort of the bipolar active and the bipolar inactive sort of sides to like a masculine and immature parts of a man's psyche, like. And one of the things it sort of sets out is like the female personality transformations. It's like only 3, it tends to be like well, not female but feminine, which is different. But the feminine tends to be princess, mother, crone.
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, for example, you have in the ancient world, I mean, you have the first civilizations, isn't it? Sumerians, eventually the Egyptians, and usually women. well, a lot of times women were in positions of power. And obviously, we have the obvious guys, Cleopatra, isn't it? But she's only one in a long line of women which were actually queens and empresses, and so they were actually chosen to be
Oh,
the main leading figure of a particular Sumerians at
yeah,
series of queens as well.
guys, it's almost midnight, so I'm gonna have to go for today. But
Yes, I always forget you're 1 hour ahead of us.
yeah, sorry about that. But man, I really enjoyed this one. Sorry for the little bit of a technical issue
Yeah,
about
well,
that.
we got to do that GoFundMe, man. There's that's it. There's no choice in it. And we're
I,
gonna.
I I'll try to figure it out. I can't probably run as much things I do. Yeah, so that's something I need to watch out for.
You can
But
only.
anyway, uh, thanks for having me, and I'll be seeing you later.
Yeah, sure, man. I was just going to say you can only do one stream on Friday. Yeah, so that's it. You can only
Absolutely.
do this one. Okay, man. We're gonna wrap up here soon, anyway. Uh, See you later.
Yeah, thank you, and hey, have a good one, both.
Bye
Bye.
bye. See you later, man.
See you, man. See it.
Let's just have a look at Canales Indiegogo once again. Let's see if he
Yeah, I didn't know that was up today. Everyone's
yeah,
putting their stuff out today.
yeah. Let's see. No, some other guys like to track books with big budgets, but we're small P, so we track the small stuff. The abductables. Ah, man, I mean Indie again. That's not what I want. I want Indiegogo. Get them confused here. Where is Indiegogo? Oh, here we go. Let's see. Well, they're gonna go to 1,000 today. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, 980. Very nice. So yeah, this is going to be an interesting book. There are quite a lot of pages here on the actual campaign page, showing a lot, showing at least it's quite spaced out with a lot of text in the middle. I'm not sure if Michael Derry could probably edit this a little bit, maybe just thin out some of these. He's kind of trying to tickle the boxes. He's talking about Comics Gate guys and all that. And he talks about a bit about Canales, and I think he probably could edit a little bit here on the risks and challenges. He's got 4 paragraphs on that. I just try to keep that short, but yeah, I mean this is exactly the thing. I mean, that's when I'll be doing another campaign in this thing. Hopefully, I will, and I'm really gonna keep it nice and sweet. I mean, short and sweet. That's what I meant. Short and sweet. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna have. I don't know. Probably gonna have just three tiers, maybe 4. I mean, I'll have 3 tiers, and then I'll do. I'll just share this again because the point on just having this fixed on my page. And I'll share the campaign again, but I'll just have like these guys are having. I'll just have 3 tiers. One is the digital, the other one is the physical, and then I'll have one physical with some prints. Everything the same size, everything fits into the same envelope, doesn't add too much weight to it, and that's it, done. And then I'll make a couple of stretch goals. If he gets there, then we talk about it. Because obviously the stretch goals will allow not only the production of extra stuff, but they will, well, obviously they will add the budget to the campaign to be able to do that in a more relaxed way. So I don't do any stretch goals, so then I can be counting the pennies.
Yeah, I definitely think that it's like it is a strange thing when the Indiegogos are full of information, because again, it's. I wonder how much you're getting from the site, because I assume that everyone going to the site is interacting with it on different platforms, and surely that the only person the site is for is the people on the site,
Yeah.
because whenever I've backed a project, I've usually already seen the images on Twitter or on whatever. I already know what it's about. I've already gotten the pitch, so I don't really. I look at the what deals I can get. Does it come with a sketchbook? Does it come with whatever?
Yeah. I wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't. I wouldn't even add that sketchbook things. I mean, sketchbook is like, it's another book you got to print. That's just too much work. I mean, I'm thinking the way I'm gonna break down doing a campaign for Chromosome 96. I'm thinking now it's already set in stone. That's what I'll do if I do it. Is to do issue 1 and 2 together, and then do issue 3 and 4 together, and then do 5 separately. Um, Sorry, just a sec. Okay, so yeah, that's the way I'm gonna do it. So I will have to deal with 2 issues at a time to print and staple together, but at least I don't have they're the actual issues of the series, not extra stuff. So can
Yeah,
really can really bother myself to.
I've seen people do. I don't know how popular they are, but I've seen people sell like their digital sketchbooks on like Gumroad or whatever. Like like they'll be sort of big digital artists, and they'll sort of put out like a compilation of all their sketches or warm-ups or whatever. And I guess it's just high quality collections of the images. But maybe that's sort of something that might be cool to do. I could do that for Death's One. Like if I went through all my sketchbooks and notebooks and scanned them in and compiled them in like a PDF and then sold a PDF
Yeah, I'm
for like
sure you can do that. Yeah, for you, it'll be worth it. Yeah.
yeah. And then I mean, once you have it sorted as a PDF, if you do ever want to print it, then you just basically press print, right? Like send
Yeah.
it to a printer. I've been looking for like newsprint
Yeah.
printers
All right.
over here, and I can't find any. And if I do find any, they're always like actual newspaper printers. They do like school newspapers and stuff,
Right.
like the big broadsheets and stuff.
Okay. Well, you want to change the stock you're using?
No, no, no. I was thinking of just like for doing mini stuff, for doing stupid stuff. Like I'd
Oh, like
actually like.
sketch stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I really like zines and the whole scene,
Oh, like
and I
cash
think like
cans, stuff like that.
yeah, sort of just stuff like that, like little garbagey stuff that you can do fun stuff with or nonsense stuff with.
Yeah.
Like I was at a convention and one guy came up to me and he I don't know what size of paper it was, but it was like this tiny, tiny, tiny piece of paper that was like, and you folded it out and it was like this weird little mini strip he had photocopied, and he just cuts it out and folds it all up, and it's just tiny little thing, and it was real. Like I just think that I mean, I don't know how I would do it with anything that I would want to do, but I just like stuff like that. I think
Mm.
there's something about like even one of the things I like about like even old school comics is like there was something about the disposable nature of it back then.
Mm-hmm.
That sort of makes it I suppose it kind of makes if it's really bad it's not that bad, but if it's really good it makes it really good, because it's cheap and disposable, and it's not supposed to mean something. And as you sort of you make something that's like higher quality, higher stock, and better paper, it sort of puts more expectation on it.
Yeah. Well, you know what I'm trying to do. Ideally, is and I got the Print Ninja catalog right here with me. Actually, it's pretty cool. They send you a little sword, a little plastic sword with it, a samurai sword. The thing is,
It is like a sample book.
Well, actually, when I order it, is because I watched a video from a guy somewhere on YouTube, and he said I ordered the print sample package from these guys, and they opened the box, and it was really cool because it was two or three comics, full comics, 20 pages, right? And each one of them was printed in a particular stock. So he gave him the feel and the idea of how they would look, and then there would be also in that package a big box, a big A4 box, and then he showed as well just some regular prints. I mean, just kind of pinups, basically posters, A4 size, and they were the rest of the stock, the rest of the paper stock they have. So they had those couple of comic books, and then they had a series of posters printed in different stocks. So, like, you could see their cardboard stock, you could see a heavier one, you can see a glossy one, and matte one, whatever. And then there was other trinkets in it as well. So I saw that package, and I went to their website straight away. I said, "Well, I got to order this. This is pretty cool." I mean, as a package, it's pretty cool, even though I actually need the samples. And I went there, and I think there's two things you can order there. There's two kinds of packages, and I can't remember what I did, if I was ordering the right one or not. All that matters is that, like, honestly, literally, like 4 days later or 5 days later. So we're actually ordering that from the US. Literally 5 days later, even less than that. I was really surprised. It shows up. Wow, these guys are really good, man. Jesus Christ, I ordered this online just 3 days ago, 4 days ago, and but at the same time, I was like, what the heck? But this is not the same thing that guy was showing online. So basically, it was not an A4 package. It was not a box. It was just a little envelope, and out comes out this book, this pocket book, this booklet, right? And he had a little sword as well. It's a plastic sword. It's pretty cool. It's a pen. The sword is a pen, right? But he's got the he's got the thing. So the pen is inside the, well, I forgot the name of that thing where you put the sword in. Um, and basically what it is, this book actually. Then I kind of thought, okay, well, it's not the same pack. Probably that package is only for the US, and it's understandable because it's a big package. It's like an A4 box, and it's probably too heavy for these guys to ship it internationally. Because this is free. Oh no, it's not free. Sorry, it's not free. It's something like $5 or something, or maybe it's $10. I don't know. I can no. You have to pay for it, but it's not much. It's like $5 or whatever. And I was thinking, it's for $5. It's actually a very neat package because you actually get two comic books to read. It doesn't matter what they are. It's just fun, It's entertainment. But I guess that other package, again, it might be too expensive for them to ship internationally. So what I got, I was very surprised I wasn't getting that. But then I actually, as soon as I started opening that booklet, it's pretty cool because that booklet, even though they don't print any comics, yeah, there is a couple of pages of comics in it, but it's mostly just photographs and explaining what is the stock. And what they do is, in each page of that little booklet is a stock, is a particular stock. So 25 grams of this matte, then you have 35 grams of the other one, 50 grams gloss. And so you go one by one, and you can actually kind of read it either backwards or from front to back, because every page has this like indicator, right? And he actually has the grams and the GSM on it, so the pounds and the GSM on it. So on both sides, you understand? So I actually think I got it here. I can probably share it. Sorry, I was just having a sip of water here. Actually, I have everything around here, so I can just quickly share it here like I did last week. I can show it to you guys what it looks like. Just give me a little second here, okay?
That's Print Ninja, you said that was?
It is Print Ninja, yeah. That's why he's got the little sword on it.
And that's in America? I thought that was like China.
Well, I think they print there, but they're based in US. As a company, they're based in US. Yep, there we go. He's here.
Yeah, they definitely have, like, I remember checking their thing, and they definitely have like manga size options and stuff.
Right. Okay. Okay. So this is give me a second. Uh, this is a sword. Yeah. Okay. So this is a pen. You open this. Get the blade. You know, and the
That's
blade
cool.
is a pen. That's it. It's a pen in. You got the sleeve where you can put the thing. It's pretty neat. So, and then this is the book. And it's only this little book, yeah. But what it is, a printing setup guide. So basically, it gives them their. You see, there you go. Our American office, our Chinese office. So I think this is just to help expedite the deliveries. You know, that's why they have an office. Uh, well, in Asia, I guess it's probably cheaper for them as well. So obviously for printing costs. But I think it also helps expedite maybe deliveries from there to Europe, I guess. Because these guys, they send me a bunch of on Twitter. As soon as you join them on Twitter or Facebook or whatever, they're any of their social pages, they straight away send you. They straight away want to help you out. Them and Crack and Print, they straight away send you a bunch of messages saying, oh, here's our new prices, whatever. Okay, so this is how it works, right? So, they give a little bit of an oversight about the printing process, which is good for newbies. But then here you go. This is the thing, right? So here in each page, you have this here, right? So it gives you, okay, well, they explain. So 55 pounds tax coating gloss, meaning, okay, so there's the actual uh, purpose material that is used on it, and then what is the coating. So in this one, you can see it's a bit shiny, this gloss, yeah? So then you go here, and this, where they explain this is another stock. On both sides is the same stock, right? And here it says, 55 tags, coating uncoated, right? So you don't have the gloss anymore. It's
Yeah.
what you call a matte, but it's not a matte because anyway. And again, another page that they explain the binding and all that. And there you go. This again is a different stock. So here now we go for a heavier paper, and then it's cool because you can feel straight away. You can feel the heaviness between the papers. Yeah, this is 70 pounds weight of the paper, and it's gloss. And you can, by them printing exactly the same pictures on each one, you can see how it changes, how your colors are going to look once you print them on different weights and different finishes. So obviously the greens here are going to be strong. So everything here, these bright primary colors are going to be much stronger, obviously. So this is going to be, here is more opaque. Here is quite vibrant. But then you obviously got the problem of the gloss. And you can even test if your fingerprints are going to show up. Actually, they don't show up, so unless you have very greasy fingers. It's cool that they put all these colors here. So it's good they make this,
Yeah.
big contrast picture between with blacks and brightness, and then you have here just standalone colors on a blank background. This helps, for example, for someone that wants to do like a coloring book or a book for kids. And again, they cover all the possibilities because you got a photograph in the middle. So if you want to do a wedding album, then they have a little bit of an analysis. I mean, explanation on paper weights. Basically, they show it to you in GSM and pounds. So this is great as well because it's a calculator, so it helps you with the translation. Because here we use GSM, isn't it, in Europe? Or is it pounds that we use? I think in US they use pounds.
I think it's GSM.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure whenever I've bought refill pads and stuff, it's always GSM.
Yeah, because pounds is an imperial measure, isn't it? So it must be.
I
Yeah.
can't wait a second.
There you go. You have everything. So you get from 55. This is what they supply. Yeah, from 55 to 135, and matte and coat. So it's two styles: uncoated and matte, and with gloss or without gloss. And then you have this here. This is what we use for covers. This is what I want to do in my book, in my normal floppy book. I want to choose an interior page, which is not newsprint, is a bit heavier than newsprint. Like there's a double mixture of paper, and I had marked here, but I can't remember. I think it will be this 70 pound text, and with and the finishing will be. Here we go. You see, I marked it. Here we go. Coating gloss. No, but that's not the one because I don't want gloss. Avoid gloss as hell. It's matte coated, I think. Here we go. I think it's this. But basically, you can mix and match. That's the whole point. This is what I would suggest. Probably, you really should avoid gloss. Gloss is something. I don't know. It doesn't look right. Look at this.
Yeah,
It's
the
shiny
books
here.
that we have it on are more like wax. I think
Yeah,
called.
it's cheap print, But this, you got a bit of gloss, but it's flat. It's a flatter gloss. You see the difference? Ah, look at this, shimmering all over. Yeah, and then you put this is different. It's a different kind of. This is not gloss. This is matte. This is quite surprisingly. This is matte, but this is quite heavy. It's 85. So that's why, and I think this is very heavy. This doesn't help in shipping, because once you have 40 pages of this stuck together, it's not a good idea. Um, I would say go for this. Yeah, there we go. Here you see, I had bookmarked it. You see, this is it. 70 tags coating matte, and is nice. It feels like paper, It's got a little bit of texture to it, very little. Yeah. While this has no texture. Yeah, this is completely smooth. You don't feel any texture here. This has a bit of texture. You can see here. There's a bit of bumpiness to it. Yeah. But the colors are still very bright, without being gloss. Because when you get the gloss, then it's laser printing, isn't it? So then the colors really are they're much stronger, but there's not major difference. You see, you can see here in the green. Here, I might focus better. You can see here the green. You can almost notice here when there's a gradient, the change of gradient here. The green here is a bit lighter than. Sorry, the green here is a bit stronger than this one. Vice versa, but it's difficult to tell. But so basically, there's not much difference with the colors. You see, there's not much difference. So in terms of strength of colors and how the gamma looks like, there's no adulteration between both of them. You see, what it is you get finer detail here. Obviously, you get finer. There's slightly more precision. Because it's a heavier paper, so the colors when they fall on it when they're being printed, they're more precise. But in terms of final result, it's pretty much almost the same. I mean, you'd be hard pressed to find differences between these two in terms of colors, yeah. But the great thing about it is that this is a little bit heavier, so 15 points of pounds above it or whatever it is. But this is that thing. It's just it feels like a comic book. It feels like a modern textured comic book. So I think Marvel needs to probably printing in this kind of paper. Well, cheaper quality, I know, but the idea is that is this kind of paper. What it is then is that on the other side, if you start the book from here, you see here is called paper samples. And here is called, printing setup, right? So that's if you read the book opening from here, yeah. And then if you turn around this, and this is why I found it was quite cool, because although it was not the package I was expecting, it's a smaller condensed version of the other package. So I thought it was quite a smart way to present this, an effective, cheap way of presenting it. So if you start from here, the paper samples, right? What it shows you is that then you can actually choose your kind of cover. And this is what I want to do. I want to have. Now you're doing a book, but I would advise this for anyone thinking of printing a floppy issue in high quality. As long as it is affordable. It's like this. Is the cover to be. Let me see if I marked it. I must have marked it as well. Because you see here the weight has changed. It's PT, right? 'Cause that's why they mean covers. This is for the covers. This side here. So basically, you choose a cover that you're happy with the weight. Now this is very heavy, 14. This has some malleability to it. You see. Well, this one here. Well, this is what you would choose for a paperback, I guess, and it's still quite heavy. This is much easier, right? And then you got the same process. So uncoated, gloss, matte, and again, I would probably, unless there's another one, coating one side gloss, coating gloss. Oh yeah, and they got the foils as well here. Got the different colors for foils.
Yeah, that stuff really pushes it up there, though.
Yes,
That's for very expensive stuff.
It's difficult to see, but here is gold, silver, red. They're all different.
Yeah, it's difficult to set up as well. I had to try and do a bit of it in college, and it's a
Right.
real pain to set up, like for printing, you know?
Right.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here we go. Let me see. Here you go. This is there you go. Okay, this is interior pages. Then here is the cover pages. So if we start here, 10. Yeah, 10 is a pretty decent weight. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. My idea is basically is to go for an interior page which feels like a comic book page. The colors are vibrant, but it's not too heavy, but not too light. And then the cover, and that pushes the budget higher because your interior page is not only because anything here, especially here in Europe, anything that is not gloss, digital gloss, that's it. It's work, is extra work for the printer. So it's they call anything that is not gloss, whatever weight that page is, I think is 70 GSM or something. It's not their standard printing process. So it's something they got to go and get from the stock. So you don't really want to deal with a printer like that because a printer like that, they're gonna start ripping you off every step of the way. Now, if you have separate your stock, your interior stock is different from the cover stock. Straight away, we're gonna charge you, whatever, 50% more. Then you want this particular cardboard stock for the cover. That's another 25% more. And by the time you finish with printing in Europe, if you want a good quality book, my God, 50 copies are going to cost you £400, which is $600. Who can do business like that? It's impossible. So if these guys have affordable prices, go for it. The only problem is the shipping, and that's why these guys are useful with the shipping because that's the thing. They're Chinese department. They ship from there. It's very cheap. I mean, have you ever bought any stuff on eBay that is shipped from Hong Kong?
No.
If you ever bought, if anyone has experience to buy stuff from eBay that is shipped from Hong Kong or even from Amazon, the delivery is actually very cheap or free. The problem is that it takes longer because they just got a huge back stock. When I say it takes longer, it probably takes a week more, whatever. So if you're not under pressure of delivering a book at a certain date, if you are, then you definitely need a local printer. But if you're not, well, I think these guys are a good option because this is what I want to do. I want to have, and this is it. I think I would go for something like this. 10 PT. I don't know what it stands for. I forget. But I would go for, yeah, this will be this. Anything above this is actually quite heavy. I still think 12 is quite heavy. You can hardly bend it, which is great. Protects your interior pages very well, but it's very heavy to be putting in an envelope and ship it. So you would have to be this. Yeah, there we go. To make it easier, this is what I would suggest. This is definitely what I'm thinking on doing. So I have this as the cover, which is sturdy. It's like a cardboard, very thin cardboard, yeah. And not have my only decision here would have to be between gloss or non-gloss for the cover. I think for the cover it's cool to have gloss, so you really have the most vibrant colors possible on the cover. And it also almost adds a little bit of extra weight to it as well. because it's a film layer that is on top of the paper. So you can actually break it down if you get an X-Acto knife and you make a cut here, you can actually almost separate the film layer that is on top of it. This is actually a paper layer and then a film layer on both sides. Um, so this is probably what I would suggest. You will have a really nice floppy book. Your cover will be very strong in colors, got a nice gloss finish, and it's also sturdy. And then have the inside in a completely different paper. Have this inside. Which one is it that I marked here? There you go. Yeah, this is it. They both marry very well.
Yeah.
It looks very nice. So inside you have something that kind of still has that modern feeling to it, but it looks more like a comic book. This is what I'm thinking of doing. So, but Kraken Press, I think they're well, they don't, I think they ship straight from the US, so I think they're a bit more expensive with the distribution, with the postage. I mean the packaging and all that. But they have a lot of options as well, so might be worth checking those guys out. Do you know Kraken Press? Have you
No.
ever? No.
Never heard of them.
Yeah. Well, you don't need to worry about this, isn't it? Because your guys
Yeah.
are printing your books. So it's fine.
Yeah, I don't deal with it. I just send the JPEGs. It's like it's done. Shows up. Like okay.
But you don't have a sword.
I might actually get it though, because
It's
I will be
important for you.
looking into it, and for
Yeah,
future stuff, it's always good to know what you're dealing with. Even if you're dealing with other printers, having a book like that is pretty handy,
Jesus Christ, it's the first time I use this. Yeah, it's it's really good. It's like permanent ink. Yeah, look at look at the flow. This is permanent ink. I thought this was a ballpoint. I thought this was some crap beak kind of a pen. This
Yeah.
is not. This is proper permanent ink. It's almost like a quill at the edge. Look at that. This is amazing.
Maybe you can get a sponsor for your next book if you ink it with that.
Oh man, I'm not sure if this is. No, it's not. Look, I just wetted my finger. Yeah, it's not going. This is permanent ink, man. This is a good pigment. I don't know what paint they're using in here, but this is pretty good, man. It bleeds a little bit in the beginning. The flow is a bit too much. You see, I just make this dot and straight away. Can't see very well, but he kind of bleeds a little bit. But in terms of flow, it breaks a little bit, but that's okay for quick lines. It's very fine points. So if you want to make some hatching here, some detail, as long as you have a sturdy hand and you're gonna make it quick, then yeah, it looks nice. It looks nice. I never tried it out. These guys should probably sell their pens. Yeah, they should have an entire stock just for this. Commercialize these pens. They're pretty nice. Well, again, all the ink we use that comes from China, isn't it? It's mostly done there. These pigments. I'm using I'm using Unipin at the moment. So
No,
anyway,
yeah, I've set it up.
yeah.
I grab whatever, those ones you just get at a hobby store, Faber Castle or Pitt or whatever they are.
It took me a long time to finally get the pens that I'm happy with, and I'm still not 100% happy with this. I'm gonna try something else that someone else has suggested to me that seems to be really much better than this. Seems to have a very good flow. But I went from everything from the Copics, and then I went to the other ones. What's the name of this thing? The ones that are cream. They got a cream color. I forget what they're called. And I finally settled on these ones.
Pigma or whatever they're called.
Yeah, the Pigma, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pigma
I've never
stuff.
really, yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm that sensitive to it. I don't have like a.
No, I
don't know.
am because
And I also use very when I do draw on paper, I tend to use textured stuff. I don't like drawing on like Bristol smooth stuff.
yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, this is the smooth artboard.
Yeah, no, I've never like that. I never got into it. I remember when I started buying that stuff because people said that's what you draw it on, and I was like, ugh. And I also use like
Yeah.
I use washes and stuff, so I'm better off using stuff that is more water, like not necessarily watercolor, but stuff that's more has that texture to it.
Well, actually, I did a whole video on the equipment I use, so I'm not going to do that again. And he's here on the listing. If you guys go, if anyone is interested, you guys go all the way back on the history of the videos, and you find I think it's the first day of the 100 days of comics. I showed the boards that I use, the paper, and all that, and it took me a long time to get some to get a pigment that I was happy with. Because for example the Copics, that's crap. I mean that's fine if you're doing a kind of pastiche trashy ashcan, that's fine, perfect. But the problem is the pigment they use is not strong at all, it's not black, and it's a very easy test you can make, for anyone listening to this crap and you're interested in inking seriously, traditionally. The Copics, they you make a test straight away, which is the first test I always make. Just let the pen settle on the paper and then lift it up and see how much the little dot that will be on the paper has spread. That's a bleed test, uh, which is really important if you're doing small details, and you have to you do them slowly, because as you're pressing the pen against the paper, if the line thickness that is coming out is not really what you want, that means the pen, the tip of the pen is not great. It allows the ink to bleed too quickly. It allows the ink to come out with, as you exercise pressure on it, it allows the ink to spill out too fast. So that's the things you got to keep an eye for. And the Copics have that problem. They bleed all over the place. Then they're not decent things. Some guys can do great things with it. I think some big guys, actually, some top professionals use Copics, but I don't like them. And the Pigma ones, the problem is they're total bitches. They dry like hell. They dry like there's no tomorrow. Especially the finer tips. The finer the tip, the quicker they dry. The thicker ones, you can still get away with it. But I had literally pens dying on me from the Pigma series, that I use them for 2 days and they literally are dry after 2 days. So
Oh.
it's a production problem those guys have. This is nothing to do with me, the way I use them, because I asked a bunch of people that use them and they all have the same problem. So I was issue one of this crap here. I was doing mostly with the Pigma ones, and I use almost issue one, and there's some really nice pages in it that came out well with those pens. And the pigment is stronger than the Copics, and they're more waterproof. That's the other thing as well. All these pens, in terms of resistance, in terms of aging, um, i- after you let the board dry, do another test. Try to erase the pencils. Yeah, I never erase the pencils of my pages, because all these pens, they don't resist erasing. I no no Some guys, I don't know what they do. I really don't know. I mean, they use that rubber thing to erase, which I don't like. It's not
Yeah,
a rubber,
yeah, I like those the putty removers,
the
putty
putty. Yeah,
erasers.
that's it.
One of the things I found with inks is that if you it depends on how heavy the lead is, because the heavier the lead, the more oil is in it. And what happens then is that part of your uh, inks actually sit on the oil in the lead.
Yeah,
And so when you rub away your pencils, you're actually rubbing away the inks that are just sitting on top of the oily lead. But
yeah,
yeah,
that
I'm gonna have to run because
yeah.
I'm on narwhals at midnight.
Oh, right.
So
Okay, man.
I'm gonna go grab a coffee and take some more medicine for my
Oh, yeah,
cold.
yeah. I guess I started to hear your cold now. It didn't came true in the beginning, but now, yeah, now is whatever you took before is starting to go. The effect. Yeah. Yeah, but he's right. I mean, everybody forgets that when you're penciling, it's dust. It's dust that you're applying on the paper. So all that goes,
Yeah.
and the ink is resting on that. So it's true. When you're raising the pencil, that's why the ink fades. But there's one ink that will never fade: Rotring. The Rotring pens, though, that will never fade. That's the strongest ink there is. But those pens are 250 pounds each. So, and I have all of them. I spend a lot of money on them, and I don't use them because they're a pain to use. They dry inside. You got to clean them up. It's a pain, man. You get full of black ink all over. So, okay, man.
All
Thank you
right.
very much for coming over, and we're gonna stop now. Thank you to everyone that came over. Until next week.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye bye.